Vaudiosonic. Accessing archive 08. Archive title: The Lego Movie Roundtable. February 8, 2014. 4 adult fans of Lego convene in the heart of a film's cinematic heat to discuss their love of plastic bricks. Recording begins.
Hi everyone, this is Vangelis, and Vaudiosonic returns for few things, but one of those things is the Lego Movie. It's February 8th. Well, actually, technically, we're about 7 minutes into February 9th, 2014. It's the opening weekend of the Lego Movie, and I'm joined by a crew of AFOLs, that's adult fans of Lego, that I've known for quite some time. First of all is Aaron, who is one of my... Spaceship. But where? Huh?
Spaceship.
He's one of my co-hosts on WTF at TFW for over 5 years now, and is the one who started like just bulldozing Lego into our off-topic section.
You're welcome.
And is one of my go-to AFOLs when I need to know about Lego things. Also joining us, another one of the Aaron tier AFOLs in my life. He goes by Noise Maze. His name is Ken, and he's right over there.
Never put your boat on a pirate's face.
Absolutely not. Well, there was an entendre in that line that I smiled at. Is all I'm going to say. Ken is actually responsible for my acquisition. It's not here yet, but my acquisition of one of the many Lego Movie polybags that are going to become the bane of my Lego Movie completionist existence for the coming year.
That's not the only thing it'll be the bane of.
Oh no.
Aaron's in on that little secret.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, all I've done is I've messaged Ken saying, "What are you doing to me?" and that's about it. I've gotten nothing.
Is that why I occasionally get messages that are just evil laughter?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay.
This is all going to end in tears. But the ascended AFOL in all our lives is a fella who actually just came back from a hella day being a man at a Lego shop. I've had him on TFW several times. He's also on Pre-Order 66. And when I introduce him, I usually call him Mr. Dan DeFuzz!
This is my jam.
How you doing?
Good. It's great to finally sit down and talk Lego with people. I mean, that's...
Yeah.
We'd hinted at doing a Lego cast in the past, and I guess this is how I'm gonna scratch that itch tonight. So, hope you guys like some scratching, because I'm pretty itchy.
Anytime. I was actually on iTunes today, catching up on my Bombcast, and I was sitting there going, like, I wonder if they have Lego podcasts. And then I stopped myself, because that would just be me really falling... I was about to say falling fallerer, but that's not a real word.
No.
Falling harder down what the Lego Movie's done to me. And here's the thing. The Lego Movie did something to me before the movie even came out, which was it introduced a theme that I categorically adored, because the Lego Movie Lego toy theme is basically one of sheer creativity and, like, without a cap, without something like, oh, and by the way, it's got to be spaceships and bugs, or it's got to be the Lone Ranger or something. It's just like this really unadulterated creativity that resonated with me hardcore in a way Lego has not ever before. And as I said, I basically am buying everything that says Lego Movie on it. But then I saw the movie, and we're going to be spoiling the whole movie. We're going to talk about whatever involving the movie, and I'll say up front, I think we all liked it. So we don't really have a voice of dissent, but I have tried to educate myself. And I put a lot of thought into what I could cite as being some negative points on the film, because I believe, you know, the other opinion always has a right to speak, even if it's not here. And I'll voice some stuff here and there, but I'm certainly not in any kind of attitude to want to actually push it very hard. And there are negative reviews on Rotten Tomatoes, and with all due respect, some of them read pretty silly to me. But we'll be getting into all of that going in. So I'm just going to start off by asking you, Mr. DeFuzz, as the resident Lego TM Lego fella. You went and saw the film with your some of your colleagues on opening night, correct?
Yeah, the whole team went out to one of our local theaters and saw it together after the store closed. Store closed at 9, and the show was at 10. So everybody who was able to make it, even those who were working, were in attendance. And it was we went to a 3D show, and it was a theater that probably sat about 40 people. You had about 12 of us, and there's like only 10 other people. So there wasn't a great turnout for the show that I went to. I don't know if it's just, there wasn't as much hype going into it, or if, it's looking like more of a family thing, or maybe people don't go see opening night movies at that theater because it's one I never go to. I don't know. I wouldn't use that as a judge, but the crowd was pretty into it.
Well, this was like a Thursday night, right?
Yeah, it was Thursday night, 10 p.m. Show, which is the new midnight. 10 p.m. is the new midnight, guys.
So I didn't know
Alfie
that.
and I were 2 of 4 in our theater.
Yeah, I was one of about 15 on a Thursday night. And I think, the impression I got is just that a lot of people didn't think the film was showing.
Yeah.
On that night, which kind of a blessing because it was the night before the release date, and it meant that it was kind of a nice atmosphere. I don't know, Ken, did you catch it with a pretty big crowd?
Well, I went like first showing on a Friday afternoon, so I got there with I think 2 families, like a mom and 2 kids each. So it was a fairly empty theater.
I think that atmosphere is actually not bad for this film on the first go because thing is a ballistic assault to the senses.
Yeah,
like
That's
it is
saying it lightly.
It is a brutal film for an under 5, I think, to watch. A friend of mine actually has a 5-year-old daughter who's asking me if she should take her daughter to the Lego movie because her daughter keeps saying she wants to go. So I said, well, if your daughter is a worldly 5-year-old who can deal with like a pretty unending visual barrage, then yeah. And she was like, that's not my daughter at all.
I'm taking my 3-year-old to it tomorrow, so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, like it's an aggressive movie, and that's certainly not a bad thing. But it's a film where I feel really ready to watch it a few more times because there is so much friggin' stuff going on everywhere, like everywhere. Some of the opening city scenes, I was just like, I can't even comprehend all this right now.
You need that Blu-ray, and you got to pause it and just kind of take it all in.
Well, I wanted to ask because I couldn't tell, and I didn't read up on this. I was like, is this stop motion? And what I'm told is it's not a stop motion film. It just was made to look like one.
That was what I heard as well.
And that's pretty cool. Like they, my assumption is that they must have used just like some 3D Lego rendering stuff mixed in with industry tier animation stuff, and just went all out and tried to animate it to look like a stop motion. Like I could see having CG Lego but moving it like stop motion and taking still images of each shot as a way to do it. Like I'm looking forward to featurettes on the DVD is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But the visual effect is so cool. Like having all the special effects be Lego pieces.
Yeah, like him in the shower or when something's on fire and
man, when Vitruvius's room explodes and there's fires and then there's like black pieces coming up as smoke. I couldn't deal with it. I was like, oh, what's going on?
The thing that kind of threw me off later on, because it all had that same style, and then, I mean, we are spoiling it, so Vitruvius's ghost comes in and he's just like floating there on the string, on the fishing line. It's like, whoa, this looks completely different.
I think that was like the foreshadowing of what would come next.
That was so great. Like I just cracked and I had no clue what was coming next, and that part just I cracked up.
It was. I mean, that was also supported by and everyone in the film did this. A really strong and enthusiastic performance by Morgan Freeman. And that's the thing that I really liked about the performances in this is, like, you can pick a standout if you want, but there was no weak one. Everyone sounded like they really were having a good time and wanting to be there in the booth, recording their lines. And that's something that can be easily lost in, having famous people doing voiceover, for sure. So I was really impressed by just the really good attitude that was going into the film. Also, we're having some Aaron problems here because apparently his router's trying to commit suicide. He should take it to see the Lego movie. That'll cheer it up. But yeah, speaking of performances, Ken, did you have a particular performance that really stood out to you?
Oh God, I thought all the acting in them was really good, but I think I just gotta say Benny was my favorite.
He's won a lot of people's hearts, as far as my social media is concerned.
I think Charlie Day needs to do more voiceovers.
Yeah,
just the enthusiasm there. Oh God, yeah.
Well, you know what made it work is all the times he got shut down.
And then he would just like get kind of just hit the thing and like, well, fine, I didn't want to build it anyway.
Yeah.
That was so good. He would just kick it and it would just fall apart.
And he would sound so hurt, like, "Oh, you mean the spaceship that I'm specially building for all of you? You don't want? Okay."
It's like you knew ahead of time he was going to get a spaceship, but I just felt so bad for him every time.
Well, also because everyone would kind of go like, "Oh, yeah, Benny." Like just the humor in the film and the character relations were so much more than, and I hate using this term, but they were so much more than they had to be for what was ostensibly like the Lego film. And that's kind of getting into what I think makes the film so important is that we're in a world right now where, you know, toy movies, not like movies that get toy lines, but a movie that is backed by a toy company in order to push toys. Primarily, those are Hasbro endeavors, and primarily they are just big summer meathead movies, like Battleship, Transformers, G.I. Joe. Lego, as a company, I feel took a few, like, kind of small but notable risks in what they allowed this movie to do that could be really important just overall in the future of the toy movie. Easy example, letting the film basically villainize the instruction book. Like, that took me by surprise.
Yeah, and that's devious too, because if you think about that from like selling sets, it's like, okay, don't use the instructions, but if you want to build your own creations, hey, buy more sets.
Yeah, like, oh man, just the layer, like, it's not like it's super deep, but the layers that you could dissect a lot of the intentions of the movie are so juicy to me. Like, the two of the negative reviews on Rotten Tomatoes, one of them accuses the film of being anti-business, another one accuses the film of being all business and a big toy commercial. And I think those two are, you put those next to each other, and it's like, yeah, guess what? The movie has totally won, because it's not a toy commercial, but it's selling toys, and it has an anti-business message, but it is fully business, and it's great. And it's, I think part of it's because Lego really let the filmmakers do what they want and tell the story they want to tell. I didn't feel like there was a lot of real, dictation coming down. And there's another layered thing I can get into later, but I'll save that. Aaron, if we got you back. No.
Crickets?
Well, I thought we had him back.
He's like stealth back. Like it looks like he's back.
For me, just going back to talking about performances, the standout to me, the one that's won me over was Liam Neeson as Bad Cop.
Yes.
But more specifically, Liam Neeson as Bad Cop, Good Cop, and Paw Cop. I think if he only played Bad Cop, I would have liked him, but he wouldn't have stuck with me this much. It's the fact that he played, both sides of the character, and he voiced, like, there's footage of him voicing the character in the booth, and he's just hot swapping identities in the booth, and it's
Did you say he's Paw Cop too?
He's Paw Cop as well. Yeah,
I did not know that.
That's crazy.
But when he's playing Good Cop, Bad Cop, he's just like, his body language as he's swapping identity to identity is so fun to watch.
Oh God, I want to see that.
It's out there on YouTube somewhere. I'll try to track it down for you after we're done here. It's because there's an account that just took all the promo B-roll that Lego sent out to the press and just put it all up raw. And some of it is Liam Neeson, like, just in the booth. It's pretty cool.
Good Cop killed me, man. Just like, hey, buddy. I can't even do it justice.
Would you like a glass of water?
Yeah, it's such a cool character idea, and it's like the backstory, like the very small but notable backstory for him, that he's the guy Lord Business sought out to help him catch the Master Builders. The whole time I'm watching the movie, I'm just sitting there going like, I bet you Bad Cop is actually a Master Builder. Like, whether he knows it or not. And like, there's the shot, like, when his police car goes off the rails, he pulls a switch and it turns into the flying car. I don't know. I just get this feeling like maybe inside Bad Cop / Good Cop, there's a master builder in there. We just need to get that Bad Cop TV series.
I love that character change at the end for him too, where he wants to be good, and I was wondering, because we had product for months now. The Lego Movie minifigures, came out at the end of December, and I was wondering what the hell was with the secondary face on the Bad Cop, the scribbled on face. I had no idea what was going on, and then you see what happens in the film, and it makes sense. And I don't know, it's just really cool how, like, I don't remember if this was recorded yet or if this was on pre-show, but like you said, like, there's so much potential spoilerage in what we saw on the shelves and the toys and the minifigures, but without context, it doesn't mean anything. And after seeing the movie, all the pieces just fall together.
Oh, totally. Yeah,
all the sets make sense, all the names make sense, all the figures make sense.
Wasn't the scribble face actually in some of the previews?
I never saw it.
I can't remember, no.
I could have sworn I seen it in one of the previews, and that was throwing me off, because I almost had the impression that the scribble face came before, like, the actual face, but it was actually, like, the other way around.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in the pre-show, what we were talking about was how even Lord Business's Evil Lair, the set that shows you basically, like, tons of little bits and pieces of a whole lot of the last half of the movie, without any context, made, literally no sense. And like, so the spoilers were staring you in the face for months, and you couldn't parse them. It was just pretty cool. And yeah, like the hypothesizing on Scribbleface Cop, Aaron, who is lost in the network storm at the moment, he thought Scribbleface Cop was a completely separate character. Like he thought it was Good Cop, Bad Cop, and then like another cop called like Bad Cop, Scribbleface Cop. And yeah, man, just that Bad Cop character is a real standout. Like he could be an IP for Lego all in and of his own.
Now I want a Ma and Pa Cop. Are they in any of the sets?
They're in Lord Business's Lair.
Oh, yes. Okay. That makes sense. That was the one I was going to buy today when I got into work, and it was all gone. So I couldn't remember what all came in it.
Yeah, so apparently after seeing the Lego movie, a whole bunch of people went to Lego stores and bought Lego.
Yeah, who wouldn't know? Very, very good advertising, I guess.
Well, that's one of the things about this movie that I really like. I kind of liked is I came out of this movie feeling more stoked for Lego than ever before, and just wanted to pick up a whack of it. But I didn't feel like I was being duped into it. I felt like by buying this Lego, I'm supporting the people who made this film, and I want to support them.
And that's awesome. Like that is. Those kind of customers in the store are badass. There's people who come in mostly on a Saturday, because I work pretty much every Saturday, and the Saturday crowd is completely different than the middle of the week crowd. The middle of the week crowd are the people who really want to be there. They're there for a reason. They're working on a project. They want to find something on the wall. They want to talk to you about it, and you can have some really enriching back and forth with some of the customers. Whereas on a Saturday night, you have the people who are already out at the mall. Oh, there's a Lego store. Let's pop in. But today was a little bit different because there was a lot of people in there jazzed about the movie, and a lot of people just buying pick-a-brick cups because maybe they were inspired by something in the movie. It's like, yeah, let's get it out there and just create. And it was super busy. It was almost like pre-Christmas time there, like the days leading up to Christmas. It was that busy, but everybody was on this Lego movie buzz, and that was really awesome to see.
Yeah, and there's just something about it, like, it is capitalistic, and one could argue that my whole, like, maybe I was duped and I'm just telling myself I'm supporting people who made the film, but there's just like there's this oddly positive attitude in the Lego movie towards the product placement side of it, and this kind of, I don't know, like, it didn't feel like the film was kind of talking down to me like I'm a customer. Like, there was a very specific attitude to it that was like, we do want to sell stuff, but we want you to want to buy it for the right reasons. Well,
and they kind of addressed that, in the movie beforehand with all that Octan stuff. And it's like, hey, look at all these zombies who, we feed them this programming that we want them to watch, and we make sure, you're buying these products we want you to buy.
Yeah.
And then, they kind of break out of that, and you see this whole big, wonderful world. So it's kind of cool. It's like, anti-advertising advertising. It's so weird. It's such a crazy dichotomy in that movie, but it works.
And that's go ahead.
I was say that bugged me so bad Friday too, because yesterday after I got out from the movie and saw it, I was on that high of, I want to go build something, but I essentially watched it on my lunch break, and I had to immediately come back and like get back to work. And it's like, oh, I just want to go to the Lego store and buy all the sets and build all the things.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, like I'm kind of feeling like I want to, once I get all the Lego sets, I want to take all of the micromanagers and secret police things and just mush them together into a giant robot. Like that's the feeling I'm getting. But what you're talking about, Dan, earlier is, and that's kind of one of the things I find so cool about this whole venture is that Lego, made this movie that in a way could have easily subverted the entire attitude towards wanting to purchase any Lego based on the movie. Because the movie is kind of telling you, like, don't become a corporate drone. Don't follow the instructions. Don't feel like you have to build what Lego tells you to build. Yet this is Lego's movie, and that small risk, I think, really is, can go far in the niche of the toy company driven film, because it shows you that it shows other companies that they can take that risk. They can put at risk their own corporate image for the sake of the film, and it can resonate back in only a positive way.
Yeah, it was very self-aware without being self-deprecating, and I think they pulled it off masterfully.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it really felt like, it felt like one of those situations where somebody was given complete creative freedom to be like, okay, make this the way, you would want to make it, and then went hands off. Instead of something like, say, Transformers and Hasbro, where it's like, okay, we can do something, but we're going to mess with it a little bit.
Yeah, like, if anything was a producer dictation in this film, maybe it was the inclusion of some of the non-Batman superheroes, but the film played them so well that any kind of, Warner Brothers placement of those heroes was pretty well masked and or nullified by the end of the film. Like, Superman was real fun in his scenes. Green Lantern was hilarious. Wonder Woman had, this one gag which was worth her time. Yeah. And yeah, like,
and Batman was a dick.
Yeah. Oh man, Will Arnett's Batman. That performance went. I was expecting that to be a one-note joke, but that performance went just beyond that note far enough to make me want to see like Will Arnett's Batman get at least his own video game.
I would love to see Will Arnett's Batman in like a series of shorts, because like I love the humorous dickhead Batman. It is great, and it makes sense now to me, because I was wondering, why don't they put Robin in there to be the scapegoat? Instead they brought in Green Lantern as like the little wannabe sidekick scapegoat, butt of the jokes. Mm-hmm. But Batman, that would have taken away from dickhead Batman. Like, you needed him to go solo.
Absolutely. And I mean, the fact that they gave him a Nolan trilogy line at the end.
Oh, that was so good.
That was the best cherry on top of that whole performance. He's the hero you deserve. I was like, wow, you went there. All right. Good job. They went a lot of places. Like this movie had one of the advantages that, as far as I understand it, because I haven't seen it yet, that Wreck-It Ralph had, which is that a lot of IP holders were basically like, sure, go ahead. Like, have Milhouse from The Simpsons and, Michelangelo from the Ninja Turtles and Gandalf and Dumbledore all stand in the same room.
Dumbledore.
Sorry.
Dumbledore.
Yeah, they poked fun at that.
Dumbledore, sorry. Double.
And yeah, there was our first look at Milhouse. I guess Milhouse is definitely going to be one of the collectible minifigures from the Simpsons series.
I didn't even know that was a thing until I was reading a thread where someone's like, oh, and movie spoiler, I guess Milhouse is in the minifigs too. It's like, what? What? Quick update, we're still having some Aaron Smith problems here.
Hey, there he is.
We stopped having Aaron Smith problems. Aaron, we were just talking about Milhouse.
Oh, yeah. That was kind of the cloaked introduction, sort of, kind of.
Yeah, I had no idea that was a thing until I read the TFW thread and someone spoiler texted Milhouse.
Yeah, well, I'd seen before as they were talking about seen some of parts of that scene, but even before the The Simpsons house was out, I hadn't seen Millhouse because I'd seen the Michelangelo gag on something.
Yeah.
And the house divided against itself has stand a better chance than this. Chair transform fly off thing. Seen both of those.
I've already built that chair, by the way.
Nerd.
I'm in the midst of trying to build that chair via Bricklink.
I'll show you guys a picture later on, but yeah, I built it.
Should be building a bunch of bad cop chairs is what you need to be building.
Holy crap! Can I? Okay. I'll hold off because Aaron needs to have his go on the one roundtable question I asked so far. Aaron,
Okay.
what was your favorite character performance
Benny.
in this film?
Benny.
You're a Benny man?
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, Emmet is a blank slate of a character, kind of, and that's kind of his point. He has not a whole lot of attitude or anything, but Benny just the all three of the spaceship moments, like the first time, yeah, we can build a spaceship. And then he just goes, he's just so excited to build it, and like, no, we don't need a spaceship. He's like, and then just like taps it, and it all falls apart. And then the second time, he gets even further, and he and taps it and falls apart. It's like, no, what we need is a spaceship. And he's like, but you're not going to stop? No, spaceship. And then builds the spaceship set that will be coming soon. But
And now we know why it's called spaceship.
right. And well, the funny thing is my second time through watching it, I realized that he was building the same spaceship each time. Because there's a distinctive like front fender piece that gaps the two like 3x12 wing pieces that was on both of them before he breaks it apart, and then that is something that's in the Benny's spaceship. That's the big set that's going to be coming out. And seeing it that second time, I was like, oh, he knows exactly what he wants to build.
Of course, he's a master builder.
I really liked when the master builder vision would turn on and they would have the Lego parts codes appear next to things.
Yeah. Well,
so I don't know any of those parts codes, but I knew that like at least one of you guys were probably just like staring like, I know that one.
Well, not quite that far. But then that was one of the things that got me about the negative reviews, which I don't know why they bother me so much. But there was one guy that was saying that it conveniently shows you the part that you can buy to have the movie experience.
Yeah, because, you know,
is what the guy was calling that out as. It's like, no!
Ignoring that there are boxed sets that say the Lego movie on the front of the box. No, the marketing is the parts numbers that show up in the film. That's silly.
But that was also, I think, the same reviewer that thought the whole thing was stop motion animated.
Well, we touched on this briefly while you were having network problems. I actually thought most of it was stop motion animated because it was so well done.
Yeah. Well, so that was something that I heard that as my connection decided to just commit seppuku. But it was, they went through some serious stuff. I saw an animation that was them doing the, like, you know, when you always see the how cool our CG is, where we're going to drop this virtual pebble into this virtual pond and you watch the ripples go, where they had one of those with Lego brick. And so then you see the wave go and hit the invisible wall and froth up and come back. And they were talking about how they took a very advanced physics engine and then said, no, you have to build it all out of Lego catalog. And then had it do its thing.
Yeah, I was saying, like, I'm actually really, really looking forward to watching the behind-the-scenes featurettes on the home release. That's
going to be the special edition Blu-ray, and I guess not fling away the disc that's the movie, but throw it straight into special features. And
yeah, well, the movie disc will be living in the case for a day or two while I'm going through the special features side.
And you can guarantee that when those home releases come out, there'll be another slew of exclusive minifigures to collect.
Oh man,
on that packaging as well.
I'm trying hard to keep up. Like I am starting to prepare myself to just go on eBay to buy Pajama Emmet and DJ Robot.
Yeah, I think DJ Robot, he's in a lot of different places. Pajama Emmet's kind of limited, and I'm envious of you with your Western Emmet.
Yeah, well, that was a crazy story. I don't know how that... And I mean, of the three, Western Emmet was the one that resonated with me the most because he's actually in the film for a decent amount of time in that costume. So I was happy to get a hold of that. But Yeah, I wanted to kind of detour us because when we were talking about chairs, I needed to share that there's this one scene in the film where the heroes escape. Bad cop is a little bit angry, and one of his cohorts just puts a chair down next to him. And then he spends the next minute beating the crap out of the chair. Then he throws it into the background, and it lands on a dude running away with no music playing. That was possibly the funniest scene in a film I have ever seen in my entire life.
I think he was specifically running to get hit by the chair, too.
God damn it, that's so good. It's a very particular style of humor that I really love. It's a very specific angle of slapstick, and that scene, not only was it one of the funniest things I've ever seen, I was dying laughing in the theater, by myself, I might add, but I was like, this had to be one of the scenes that the Robot Chicken guys who were helping with this got involved with. Like, that was such a Robot Chicken scene.
I could see that. All of that chair stuff seemed like it was themed and fueled that way, because the first time when we meet Good Cop, after him, you know, he's got like the 5 or 6 chairs in the back that he just goes and thrashes, and it was just so funny that was the go-to, and it made it so good, and just it was like, then you see a charity, you're like, oh, I know what's happening.
Yeah,
you know, they said it that well. And
so, I have a prediction. I have a prediction for a polybag. Bad cop with chairs.
Yes.
Like, I don't think that's unrealistic.
They should just sell a bad cop chair booster set.
I'd buy like 12 of those.
Or you can go on Bricklink and build those real quick for yourself.
I don't know.
I tried to build one tonight, and I realized I don't have the part.
Which part do you not have? The chair?
The base.
Or the column thing?
Yeah, the column.
Really? I probably have a bucket of them somewhere in here.
I could have sworn I had one, but I can't find them.
It's probably in the middle of something.
Bet you have a bucket of columns. Bet you do. Speaking of other characters, while we're just kind of going through some of the main cast, just talking about Emmet, you know, the main guy in the film, something that I think really made Emmet work for me was, again, like the performance, and just that, like, it's hard for a film to, I think, convincingly give you an everyman touchstone, let alone like a movie like this. And I was kind of amazed that the Lego Movie had created such a perfect, like, self-insertion character to view this all through, because like he's surrounded by these master builders. He's got this kind of, you know, likable attitude, and I was like, man, like, I do feel a real touchstone with this guy, because I have no idea what's happening for the first chunk of this movie, and he doesn't seem to either. And I mean, that really culminated in the third act nuclear spoiler moment, but
yeah,
I felt a lot better, not entirely better, because I'm still kind of like, I don't know what to do with all these Emmets, but I felt a little bit better about the guaranteed Emmet side of the merchandising, which, you know, leads to most of us having an army of him, which I kind of wish had been something in the movie. Like, at some point, just 12 more Emmets show up. But yeah, I really dug him for what you know, ostensibly would be the easiest character to ignore in the film, the everyman. And also that little thing on his hair is fun. I like that. I don't know what you'd call it. It's not a cowlick.
Cowlick?
Is it a cowlick?
Yeah, the little bit that stands up in the back, yeah.
Oh.
Yes, I possess one of those as well.
Yeah, I like that aspect of him. I don't know. Did Emmet resonate with any of you guys, or was he more of a fella in the film, surrounded by a bunch of crazies?
I definitely liked him more than I thought I would. The commercials kind of gave it this impression, or gave me the impression, that he was going to be a little over the top with, oh, I don't really know much, guys. I'm kind of doofy and stuff like that, you know, because they kept saying, they kept showing that part where he's like, you know, he's the least qualified to lead us, and you were right, and stuff like that. And I don't feel that they took it too over the top. They did what they needed to with it. Mm-hmm. And
I think the worst he got was walking into the saloon.
Yeah. And I laughed at that. I thought it was done really well. And I'd actually just kind of started giving Parks and Recreation another try, and it's like, wow, that's, you know, Chris Pratt. Like, I know it's him, but I still can't see it when I'm hearing the dialogue come out of Emmet's mouth. Mm-hmm. So I was impressed with that as well.
Yeah.
All of the voices in this film. I mean,
Oh yeah, across the board, I cannot name a weak performance from any regular speaking character. It's impossible. They all did a really good job.
Yeah, and I think Emmet did really well, at least evolving throughout the movie instead of being kind of a flat one-note character through the whole thing.
Well, a lot of his moments when surrounded by a build, like those two main times, I thought were some of his best moments, actually. Like when when they're building the submarine, or when they're trying to escape in the western town, where he's like, "Can I help? Does anyone need this? Can I?" Like, I really like that side, because it was like it was a more subtle way of showing this guy who needs instructions, who's trying like mad to be creative, so he's just picking up random stuff and trying to get into the team mentality. Yeah, I liked how like the movie really got me feeling for Emmet a whole lot of the time.
It's kind of funny, just to kind of sidebar a little bit, the video game, the Lego Movie video game, I started that today. Oh. And anybody with familiarity with a Lego game, there's usually like these bouncing bricks up and down that you can go ahead and build something with to progress through the level or interact with something like that. And you're playing as Emmet, and you cannot do that because he can't build. And so he only goes up and fixes things with a wrench. And
that's amazing.
Yeah, it's like annoying because you want to just build the thing like you normally do, but you can't, and it matches his character. It's so cool.
That's awesome. Like that's I've been reading a few reviews of the game, because I was potentially going to be picking it up to get Western Emmet today. And apparently it's for a Lego game, it does a whole lot to stay interesting and stay really relevant and then stay on the radar. Because I mean, the Lego games they're kind of like a little kind of mini genre, and that sounds like a really cool twist on the formula. Like, and it's very, very movie relevant. That's cool. If we're talking about Emmet, we've got to of course go to the other main character, Wildstyle, Lucy. Spoilers.
Oh yeah. What are you, a DJ?
She's a character that I was worried was going to run out of steam halfway through the movie, and she did a real good job of kind of always having one more little thing to kind of reveal about herself as a character. And I just love the the kind of classic art student side of this character of like, oh, you changed your name again, oh, you're boyfriends with Batman because he's an artiste. It's kind of cool.
It's real music.
Because like going into this, the one character I was actually kind of worried about, and I felt bad about this, was Wildstyle, because it was particularly her name. I was like, the name was trying so hard. Like, it's a real try-hard name. I was like, this could go real bad. But then the movie basically goes like, that's a try-hard-ass name you have. What's up with that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, it was real self-aware in the best way.
She also had all the Trinity moments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the constant, referring to him as Sir when they first meet was hilarious.
Yeah.
Like, oh, excellent idea, sir. We're going to build a bike out of the alley. Which was a line that got a good chuckle out of me, too. Yeah,
that was your first step in with a toy, right?
Was
that bike?
It was simultaneously that bike and MetalBeard's Duel. So It was kind of cool to see. Number one, it was cool to see the bike in context, and it was actually I didn't know that the bike was only going to be kind of a one scene thing. But when they rebuilt it into the flying version, I felt like I had taken my first step deeper into Lego when my first reaction was, wait, those big wedge wing things aren't part of the bike build. Where'd she get those from?
It was the sign that blew up right as she started to do that.
I like that you had an answer for that. That's because that was and I felt kind of semi proud of myself. I was like, man, that's gonna be the thing that I'm focusing on here.
As soon as I saw that, I immediately was like, okay, I want to see this again because I want to know if I can build that.
I get a feeling you can build anything you see in that movie, albeit maybe with some spare parts. The submarine being a great example. But that whole opening set piece actually with the motorbike was kind of I love that set piece, but it's also the root of one of my minor criticisms I can bring up, as I'm surrounded by people who are literally pulling out butterfly knives and maintaining eye contact with me while I say it. The movie that sequence was so bombastic, it was so great That it's also part of how I felt like the movie, just for a little while, it blew a lot of its visual load real hard in the opening, just really pulling you in. And I felt like I could kind of tell in part of the Western sequence when the film really did need to like take a quick breather and like drink a Red Bull, because it had just like exerted so much energy in that opening sequence. That, you know, if someone watching the film really needs to be visually engaged that hard all the time, I could see some of the downtime in Western Town being a bit of a negative. But that's really about it as far as that one criticism I have. That opening bike sequence was such a good set piece. Like, that was a legitimate action set piece, which and it was one of the many times where I was like, I can't believe I'm seeing this in the film called The Lego Movie. Like, which is kind of a crux of the whole film for me. But I don't know. Did you guys take anything in particular from that whole big sequence from the alley to the bursting through the wall, or was it just kind of like, this is damn cool?
I liked. I mean, you had another one of those self-aware moments when they burst through the wall, and Emmett's like, "Hey, where are we?" And literally, the name of the town is just hanging there in the sky.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's funny.
Yeah.
This is the only movie you could do some shit like this in, you know?
Yeah.
That
And
like Wreck-It Ralph, you know?
And it's totally fine.
Yeah. And then as they're walking into it, you can see the backside of that, you know, lettering still hanging in the sky in the background.
Yeah, it hangs around the whole time they're there.
Well, he even says, like, what's up with the huge words hanging in the sky when we got here?
Yeah, it might have brought you down a little bit, but I still think they did enough kind of interesting things and something like that to make you go, okay, this is going to be a different type of movie.
Oh yeah,
that who knows what to expect now, you know?
Yeah, well, Western Town, like for all the things of it kind of slowing down the action, the humor for the opening minutes of Western Town just pumped up hardcore. Like, starting off with, again, this is the kind of stuff that I find really funny. Just the way they did the gag of Emmet lying face down on the floor screaming for like a full 30 seconds. Like, it's the whole thing of pushing it long enough for it to circle back around and become funny again. Like, the movie was really good at that when it wanted to do it. I think there was another time where Batman has this one long drawn out and his head just like does one slow full rotation.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, is that the Lego equivalent of an eye roll? That was hilarious.
Fine.
I just want to say one of the best things about Western Town: animals with police lights on their heads.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my God, that horse!
That horse. It was. You see it walk away, and it's like, why is there red and blue, and then it does the quick turnaround, like, ha ha.
Yeah,
and
I want that horse.
Oh.
Also, when the horse trotted into the saloon in the demented stop motion fashion that it did.
Yeah.
That was so
because
good.
that piece doesn't articulate it anyway.
It's just like bopping up and down. That was hilarious. Yeah, Western Town was a real good use of time, especially when they got out of there and we had another friggin' crazy action set piece. I really need the chain gun build, like, you know, the that underslung series of cylinders. I need to freeze frame that and see what that was, because I need to make a few of those.
That looked like it was just a lot of little bushings.
This is the thing. I don't know any of those terminologies. I need a dictionary. What is a bushing?
The little gray spacer piece.
Bushing.
It was just like the Technic bar and the bushings, right?
Yeah, it's what it looked like. It'd be easy enough here. In that picture, it looked like it was the bottom right.
Yeah. I need to get a whole bunch of this stuff, because I got to make a few of those chain guns. That was, I think, my favorite like mini build in the whole film was the Western Town chain gun. That thing looked really cool. And I was happy because one of my favorite minifigures from the blind bags is the lady robot from Western Town.
Oh, really?
So her with the chain gun, I was like, this is the best.
And then actually, you could start with that piece there to be the handle.
Oh, there you go.
And then just a bar through it and some bushings. It wouldn't rotate, but you'd be pretty close.
It's bombarding me here with CAD imagery.
Yeah, going back for a second, speaking of parts and kind of circling back to the master builder conversation, the other thing I really liked was Emmet going to work and they were all using like the slang names for all the pieces, like cheese slope and
and macaroni or
right.
whatever. That was cool. But yeah, that whole opening sequence, like, I feel bad we kind of glazed over it a bit, but I mean, that was also, like, that was one of the best, like, cheerfully semi-chilling dystopian intros I've ever seen. Like,
Yeah, there was a bit of dystopia involved there, wasn't there?
oh man, like it was this really careful balance of like super cheerfulness that in a trailer looks like, oh, this is a kids movie, but like right up front there are all these undertones that make it all so chilling because you're like, wait, none of this is good. Everything isn't awesome. The song "Everything Is Awesome" is terrifying. It's like
But it's a horrible earworm.
this
is my jam.
That's what I love about how everyone who came out of the movies, you know, like a lot of people are kind of just like humming that song, posting it on Twitter. I'm like, this is hilarious because technically, in the context of the movie, Everything Is Awesome is kind of this anthem of making yourself blind to the horrible world around you.
Yeah.
And that plays in the Lego store every 38 minutes.
Yep. When I went to the Lego store to get the last of the minifigures, kind worker there named Rosa was giving me some help, and she was saying, this is the 8th time they've played that song. Today I've been keeping count. I was like, man, it's like metafiction. Yeah, it was also kind of cool because I mean I know that Lego City and by extension the modular stuff is a real big side of Lego, and I thought it was a kind of neat sort of understated way to feature it in the opening by having, you know, basically Cityville, or was it Brickstown? Or was it
Bricksburg.
Bricksburg, yeah. Like it was basically like, here's Lego City of the city, and I kind of dug that. I was actually waiting for the cop from the Lego City video game to cameo. I forgot his name now.
Oh, Chase McCain.
Yeah, I was almost waiting for him.
I'm surprised that didn't happen.
Yeah,
It might have been in the background. There was
Could have been. There was a ton of stuff.
yeah.
There were 3 layers of background.
I noticed a few sets here and there, but then it changed so quickly that I didn't have enough time to process what I just saw. But I'm pretty sure I saw the fire brigade in there somewhere. That's the one that stands out in my head. So yeah, you might have seen Chase McCain in the background somewhere.
I saw the Octan tanker a couple times, and a couple of the other like last year's city line as like background vehicle things.
Yeah, when they had the traffic scenes, the layers in there were demented.
Yeah.
Which I'll drop the other major criticism I have right now because it's very relevant. The one thing that I felt really disappointed about in hindsight with the movie was actually the 3D. I know that I am in a minority as far as, you know, vocal internet people when it comes to 3D, because I really like a good 3D experience. And I felt like the Lego movie, like, I wasn't sure if I went in there not knowing if it was CG, so I was like, did they do stop motion with 3D cameras? Because that would be demented cool. And the 3D in the Lego movie ended up being the kind of post-produced 3D where I kind of don't notice it's there anymore. No. About halfway in.
Yeah.
And particularly when Emmet is going through those kaleidoscope falls where he's crossing the borders of reality, that was where I was like, oh man, they didn't really care too much about the 3D, because this could have been the most trippy, vertigo-inducing experience ever. And that's a disappointment that I know is not one held by many people, but it was in trying to find negative points to drop on the film, because, you know, I feel it's important to try to find something negative about something I love. That was one of the few things I could really cite was, you know, the 3D wasn't really worth your time if you have a choice. But man, if the 3D was strong, those city sequences also might have just fried my brain. If there were like hundreds of layers of depth all moving at once.
You have that moment of total cognition and then ear brain leakage.
And then you have blood coming out the right earlobe, and you're like, why am I bleeding? What? And then you realize you're smelling toast, and then you're just out on the floor. Just gone. Yeah, those city scenes were pretty damn cool. If we're progressing through the movie, I guess we're where are we now? So we're in Western Town, and from there they went. That's where they went to Cloud Cuckoo Land, right?
Well, the meeting of the Vitruvius.
Right, Vitruvius. We haven't talked about Vitruvius yet. Yeah, and the mental landscape made of transparency. Vitruvius, almost my favorite character of the film, and it was definitely one of the most unexpectedly great Morgan Freeman performances I've heard. Because I was ready for him to phone that one in.
It sounded like he was doing it with a smile on his face the whole time.
Oh, such a smile on his face. Like, man, the Vitruvius character, holy crap. Like, what could have been the most one-note wise man character? There's so many tiny layers to that guy, right down to the fact that when you get the minifigure, you pull the beard off and you see he is literally just a hippie in a bathrobe. And, like, other things I didn't know until I read about them online, like his staff is a broken lollipop stick.
Yeah. With a bit of sucker still on it.
Yeah, Vitruvius... It just went. He took a tired trope and just wove enough flavor into it to make it so much more interesting. Like, especially how a lot of the master builders didn't actually seem to really respect him all that much. Like, when he shows up and he's like, "Yeah, just listen to this guy. He knows what he's talking about." Then the whole Dumbledore moment.
Yeah. Dumbledore?
Like, you're gonna have to write it down.
Yeah.
Which is funny because he's blind.
Yeah. Oh man, that opening. That opening when he's like,
yeah,
what was that line? Oh yeah, I can see.
Zap! Oh my eyes! Oh, I was not expecting that opening sequence. By the way, like that sucked me in immediately. Like this awesome music and this hellscape, and then like I thought the Lord Business thing was going to be some kind of reveal way deep into the movie, but they just show it right up front. Oh, that was great, and he made up the prophecy. I loved it.
If we're going back to the beginning, we have to discuss the Lord Business's mispronunciations of the Kragle.
Yeah, of everything. Oh man, that was such a cool idea. Cloak of Bandaid. Loved it. And Lord Business in general. Man, Will Ferrell, another guy who could easily phone in a performance and get away with it. I mean, there's another reason why he had layers to his performance, but when he's voicing the minifigure, that was pretty good. I was won over by Lord Business and President Business.
I actually I liked his other performance. If I don't know if we want to talk about that yet or not, but I usually am not a big Will Ferrell fan, just for like the over the topness he can bring, which is important to the Lord Business character. But when you see, the dad figure later on in the film, I appreciated seeing a not overly over the top ridiculous Will Ferrell, and he played the role well.
Well, it's a side of Will Ferrell that I think just a lot of directors who hire him don't want him to do. For definitely for the worst.
He's the big bombastic funny guy.
Yeah, and I like toned down to earth Will Ferrell. I like that actually a lot better.
Yeah. I mean, just look at the career of Jim Carrey, right? Like, there was a period where people only hired him to make funny faces and talk using his butt cheeks.
Yeah.
And then when he managed to get away from that, he could do some pretty cool stuff as a more down-to-earth actor. And I think Will Ferrell's in a similar position. Like, he's not... I don't know if he can hit quite the depths Jim Carrey is able to hit at times, but Will Ferrell's able to perform a pretty good, just like, a down-to-earth dude with a lot of warmth to, what he's got inside.
Yeah, I really appreciated that side of him coming out in the film, and showing complexity for his whole purpose to be in the film. So it was really well done.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're what's our mark here? We're getting close to the hour mark. Do you guys want to just talk about the nuclear spoiler?
Sure, why not?
Yeah, because there are two things that we've just kind of danced around.
Yeah, I think it's time. So once again, if you are listening to this and you haven't seen the movie, you really should just go see the movie.
Yeah,
and I feel terrible for anyone who had this next spoiler blown for them, because, and I also want to say, I can't believe there is a one sentence nuclear tier spoiler for the Lego Movie. Like, for what I mean, the movie is, once you look at it from far away, it is a pretty simple movie. It's a kids movie. I mean, of course it's simple, but it's a very clever, simple story. But in the third act, there is this sudden introduction of an element that adds this, like, the story stays simple, but now the setting becomes, in my opinion, extremely detailed, because there's an infinity window that leads to an infinity void that Emmet falls through, and it's hinted at one point in the film. And so I was expecting the moment where Emmet falls and lands on the floor of a room and he's in the real world. I was expecting that. I was expecting the kid to pick him up, and the kid is God, and I thought that was going to be it. But then, walking down the staircase, stepping out of the shadows, getting an audible "ha" from me in the audience, is real life Will Ferrell dressed in a suit that looks a whole lot like President Business's.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden there is this completely new aspect to the film, and I don't want to talk too much all at once, but there's something, the more I thought about it, the deeper it got, in a really good way. But I'll start with you, Aaron. What was your reaction to the whole moment?
It was kind of... It was definitely a mind-blowing moment, because I also then went back to, do you remember the time differential between the opening scene and Lord Business getting the Kragle?
8.5 years.
And Emmet.
Good,
8.5 years.
Good call.
How old does that kid look?
Yeah.
I totally forgot about the time. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's an excellent point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was one of those things where my brain went, oh, that's why 8.5. That it was like the time that, of the dad, then it becoming the dad's thing, and then he's kind of the bad guy in this, but as it ends up, not. But I mean, but then that means
out of the context of the movie,
how I'm watching this movie altogether.
Out of the context of the movie, Will Ferrell, the dad, is just your average misguided fella who likes toys but doesn't know how to deal with it.
Yeah,
And I just wanted to add, I forgot about this. When that whole moment happened, the theater I was in, granted, there's only about 20 of us in there total, but there was a hush that fell over the entire theater for a good minute of people just processing what the hell's going on. It was amazing.
And it seemed like it also gave time for you to be like, yeah, we just messed with your head.
Yeah.
Okay, just let it sit there for a little bit.
Oh
okay.
man, yeah, I was just like, what are they doing? This is great. They just, because the one thing I was worried about was, how is this movie going to end without ending just as any kid's action movie does, where you can kind of predict everything that's about to happen. Yeah, just fantastic movie, I thought. Dan, what was your reaction to the big nuclear moment?
There was a foreshadowing of that coming, so while in the back of my mind I might have been expecting it, my active brain was not. So it kind of threw me for a loop. Like, you had this momentum going, and then bam, it's like a different movie now, and I'm like, whoa, what the fuck happened?
Yeah.
And it wasn't. If there's any negative I could say about the movie, it's that. It's just how quickly we go from this to that, and not giving me time to deal with that.
It's a whiplash for sure.
And but that's not a bad thing at all. And I thought it was a brilliant idea. And I'm like, just like you guys, like, how the fuck do we continue now? Like, what happens?
I mean,
right.
for a movie.
Well, no, but that's where it gave you a bit of pause, where everything's really quick, and then it's like, okay, now you're meeting these two new characters that, when you do put into context of Lord Business being the dad and Emmet kind of being the kid, but it when you take that and can kind of continue it on, you still have it, but it still gives you that moment to speed back up to where you are. And there were a lot of people that were saying that it was a hard jostle. I'm like, well, it's a hard jostle, but it pauses, and I thought it gave time for you to kind of go like, okay, what did we just see? Oh my gosh, okay.
Yeah, and what kids movie takes in the third act has a moment that for probably a full 45 to 60 seconds has anyone watching it going, what the hell is going to happen for the next 20 minutes?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it was just a little disorienting is all I'm saying. That's the only negative I could say, is that we had this really nice momentum going, and then we totally changed speed, but we added this whole layer of complexity to it. But there was so much great stuff that came out of that. And just you saw, it wasn't the first time, as after we went back to the Lego world and then we started bouncing back and forth, and you saw the similarities. You saw, Lord Business and Emmet standing, one's towering over the other. And then we see Will Ferrell towering over his kid, and you're
when they
shit.
showed you what the pants were, that they were actually this whole time an allegorical image of the parent to the son, I was like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it got deep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, it's not like this is in terms of just film in general mind-blowing, but the Lego movie, this. Ken, coming around to you here, when you hit the moment of transcendence, what was your reaction?
It was the first thing I thought, right when that transition happened when Emmet fell off the tower down the infinite abyss or whatever. Like, at first I wasn't sure what to expect, because I almost thought maybe they were completely like fridging Emmet and switching over to Wildstyle, because he's like, okay, this is your time. Maybe she was going to be like the chosen one after that point onward.
Mm-hmm.
But then, you know, he falls onto the floor and we go to the real world, and it's like, oh, okay, I see what they're doing here. This is, you know, kind of messing with my mind. And the part that I really kind of got me thinking was when you switch back and forth between the real world and kind of the Lego world, you notice that like all those robots and the micromanagers don't exist in the real world. So they're essentially like the manifestation of the father's will upon like his Lego sets.
Yes. Yeah. and man, okay, this is something I've been trying to think of how to put succinctly for the last 2 days. This is the thing that I thought was the most amazing thing about all this. So the easy thing for this movie to do would have been to do one of two things. Number one, it's Toy Story. And, you know, we have these toys that are actually alive, and oh my god, they're really alive, and when the people are looking at them, they can't move, and that's it. Or number two, this whole thing is actually happening in the kid's imagination, and this whole story we're watching isn't real, and the real world is just the kid and his dad. But no, it did neither of those. It did something that is so specific and so very finely crafted, I was, like, practically blowing kisses to the screen by the end of this. We have the Lego realm, the Lego world, which is real, and then we have a transcendent level of reality, which is our world. But the way that the movie played it was that neither the real world is the only world, nor is the Lego world the only world. They are two planes of existence. Like, they were literally planes of existence. Not anything literal, but a highly metaphysical transition. And I was like, this is so frigging intelligent an idea to do, because it didn't cheapen the movie that we had been watching up until that point, and it didn't take the audience for stupid either. Like, and the way that it really solidified that for me is that, number one, Emmet was conscious in our world, but number two, like the Lego world was a real thing to him that was not being directly manipulated by humans, but instead, as you said, the micromanagers were a manifestation of our influence upon that plane of existence. And I was like, at the end of this, like, I say all this, and then I punctuate it with, this is the fucking Lego movie!
Yeah.
Like, it was such a good idea, like, such a creative idea, and then on the part of Lego Company, such a bold risk to allow this idea to manifest in this film. To let to let this movie be more than just a bunch of Lego characters in Legoland, but also letting it be more than just it's Toy Story with Legos. Like,
well, also that on their part, and this is something that I know you've said before, of them saying, like, no, make part of the theme of it, just like forget the instructions.
Yeah.
Just do whatever. And I mean, that's part of Lego anyway, but it was to really hammer that theme home through the whole movie was another thing that in discussions with other people that have just seen it, it's been like, well, but that's not their thing. I mean, it's kind of their thing, but how is it that that's like the big advertisement bit that comes out of it? It's always just amazing and wonderful.
Like,
and
it's
the Lego movie.
The whole metaphysical planes of existence side of this film is such a remarkable, defensible, intelligent, and applaudable creative decision to make, that it like even going to the end credits, it was still washing over me exactly what this movie had just done. And I adored that decision. It was like the clinch, like it was the linchpin clincher of what just made the whole thing close up and be more than just a fun experience, but an actual friggin' good film. And it was so brave on the part of many people involved to be bold enough to take that step, I feel. I'm trying not to gush it or oversell it, but I find it is really hard to put into words precisely what I feel they did in those moments. And just, yeah, then you move into the more direct, literal stuff, like the allegorical motions between Lord Business and Emmet and the dad and the son. But and this is just on the storytelling level. In terms of like of the message of the movie, there was such a beauty in that final act as well. But
And then I love how they end that on like a really silly note. You know, it's like, here's this touching moment. This is what everything means. Blah 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 blah. Oh yeah, your sister's gonna start playing down here.
Yeah.
And then bam, here come the Duplo, and they sound like crazy little baby monsters, and I fucking laughed so hard at that.
It sounded like the South Park Canadians.
I loved it.
And the designs of the Duplo being, in a way, legitimately terrifying was such a good decision, too, where they're, like, their mouths open, but their teeth are sideways, and, like, their tongue come out their, like, just, like, nothing on them is logical, because they are from the mind of, like, a toddler. So good.
I need to find a, like, still of that, because I have a crap ton of Duplo here, and I want to try and replicate that build.
Make the Duplo invaders?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, like and we'll come back around to some of the other stuff that happened in the film, like Cloud Cuckoo Land and the Sea Cow. But the whole third act is so discussable, and it elevates the Lego Movie so much higher than anywhere it was going to be without that third act. And I love the message of it too, and just the very simple story of a father realizing the connection he's losing with his son, the connection he's losing with the whole reason why he clings to this side of his childhood. It was just a very beautiful, very simple message. And it was the classic movie showing a toy collector, in a bad light, but it did it in a way that for once, and it's the only time I feel a movie's ever done this, it did it without talking down to toy collectors.
Yeah.
Like
it was something where it was along the lines of like it maybe he didn't realize what he was doing until he saw his son's creativity in it, and then it was like, oh my gosh.
Because I mean, Toy Story 2 and 40-Year-Old Virgin have both played with that trope as well. But anytime I've seen that trope, except for now, it always felt like it was talking down to the toy collector or treating the toy collector like how Big Bang Theory treats geekdom in general. As like this kind of this lampshade hand puppet to laugh at.
The thing to laugh at, yeah.
And this is the first time I've seen something so genuinely say, like, number one, you can, take your passion in a direction that might be damaging, but number two, you aren't a bad person for having that passion. And that side of the message was, like, so beautiful.
Well, and right there at the end, too, I mean, because the film is kind of like the two different forces fighting against each other, but they find common ground. It's like, well, there's room for both.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But, all the beauty aside, when we were still in the heart of, the dad not getting it, that was also some great stuff. Just like Will Ferrell super gluing all the Lego together. I was just imagining some people wincing watching that.
Is it bad that, like, during that scene, like, not the super glue part, but, like, during that scene, like, looking at, like, his displays, I was like, yeah, I wouldn't want anybody touching that either. Like, I was like, I want to build that building. Oh, that's pretty cool,
I was wondering if any of you guys were looking at that whole basement in the first, like, big reveal of it and going, like, damn, I want that.
Yep. I was like, that is awesome. I need to do
His
something like that downstairs.
Area.
The only thing I could think of was Aaron, like, helping at a brick world and just, like, watching all the kids crawl over all the displays.
Did you guys see his minifigure display in the background? It
was
like,
I did. He's
so
hanging
cool.
on the wall.
Yeah. Or by his workbench, just the tons of, like, labeled stackable containers.
Yeah, it's the funny thing was, like, the day before that, because I've been working on, like, 6 different things at the same time, 6 different Lego projects that I'm trying to put together. And I've gotten to the point where I am now cannibalizing sets, because it's like, okay, this is a set I've built, I took down. Now I want to use the parts for something else. And I don't have any organization whatsoever. So I started looking through, like, Flickr pools there's, like, legit Flickr pools for Lego organization and storage. Yeah. And it's kind of like porn. Like, you just see, like, people's storage and workspace areas. It's like, oh, I like that. So it's inspired me. And then seeing it in the movie afterwards is like, okay, it's a sign. I have to get my stuff organized.
Did you ever see the 360 view of Orion Pax's garage?
Yes, I have.
Yeah.
It's fucking amazing.
Yeah, oh man, just that and the way they shot the live action stuff too was so interesting. Like, it was shot in a real, like, unique, characterful way. I felt from my recollections anyway. Like, the amount of focus put on the Lego stuff that was in there, and and the amount of and the way that at any point they were trying to show the humans as being, even in their own world, just kind of a towering presence. Like they didn't utterly mundanify the presence of real people in this movie.
Because a lot of the time it was like you were still kind of riding along with Emmet.
Yeah.
So, even the kid was big, and oh my gosh, the dad was huge.
Don't eat me.
Yeah.
And the cat poster.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Mouth open, closed.
That was the best, dumbest gag in the whole film.
Well, yeah, it was great. It's like they made reference to it earlier in the film.
Yeah.
It's just so good.
Well, that's also and man, Vitruvius, when he comes down, and this is again going to the whole the metaphysical end of how this worked. When he appears as a ghost, as literally just dangling from a string, that was that world crossing into the Lego world.
Yeah,
and his knowledge of the cat poster from the Great Beyond is the Great Beyond is just him in the real world dangling off a string because he's not dead; he's a toy.
Yeah,
it was so good. Oh man, it's a really tricky concept done with such logic. I loved it. And yeah, that was that by the way, the whole thing we're talking about now, that is the nuclear spoiler. And if you come out of that movie and you walk up to someone who hasn't seen it and go man, wasn't it great when Will Ferrell appeared in the flesh? You are a dick, sir, whoever you are. You are a lousy person, and you need to not do that. But maybe was there anything else you guys want to add about the live action sequence or sequences?
Not really live action, but it's kind of that whole outside or maybe between the planes of existence where maybe we're between scenes and we're seeing Lord Business fly away in his ship, and it pans out and you see this little Lego model just kind of move across the screen, and you hear somebody with their lips just go brrrr.
Yeah.
And it was just
I've been waiting to bring that up.
It's such an odd moment. I don't even know where that fits, but it got a laugh out of me. Because they did it 2 or 3 times. It got a laugh out of me every time.
It had really great comedic timing, those moments.
Yeah.
Especially when the top of the tower separates. It's just a giant 2x4.
and when Will Ferrell's so you're saying you accidentally and skillfully took an entire piece of this off.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh man, the kid was such a good actor. And that exchange, the one perfect exchange of doing the joke you have to do in the situation, where the dad's they're not toys, and the kid's but they are toys. It's no, they're different when we have. But it says 8 to 10-year-olds. Yeah, but I'm over 10. That means that they're not toys anymore.
but we got them at a toy store.
Yeah, so good, so good. Well, I asked because if we have dropped as much as we can on the live action bits, we should probably dial back a bit to cover the remaining stuff that happened beforehand. But yeah, anything else on the invasion of real actors?
A couple of things. I did again, talking about how good of an actor Will Ferrell is, seeing the moment when he does hug his son over kind of going from being angry at him to realizing what was going on. That was totally, one of those moments where it does show Will Ferrell as a great actor, because you could just see the hit.
Mm-hmm.
And the gut hit, and then when he kneels down to give his son the hug, and the way it kind of is bouncing back and forth between the two worlds, and then I actually the way that they bury nods in this, so the kaleidoscope that the son uses, I keep forgetting, what was the son's name?
Finn, I believe.
Okay, maybe. Okay, whatever. The thing that he uses to put Emmet back in the world, that is the magic portal, is the name of the first real serious brick film that was ever done. So the first thing that ever made Lego movies was then again just referenced as something as a hidden reference in this, and it's just the levels of detail.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, and also I when you talked about the real touching moment of the hug, I also liked how quickly they subverted it with when it happens in the Lego world. I'm just yep, you're a hugger. All right.
Yeah. Work
it out.
Yeah, Finn. That's right.
Yeah,
Jason Sand.
He did a good job. Like, in a world where a lot of child actors can be pretty bad.
Yeah.
I always really appreciate a good child actor.
He was additional voices in Wreck-It Ralph.
Oh, no.
A lot of additional voices.
He's a ringer. But dialing it back, let's just to fill out the rest of what we can cover here. We should talk about Cloud Cuckoo Land, and we should talk about Uni-Kitty. Because speaking of characters, of the many times that I've already said, and we've already said, there were things that looked like they were going to be pretty simple, and they weren't. Uni-Kitty was quite a surprise to me. Because
did I say she was my favorite? Yeah, she's my favorite.
Yeah,
I thought you said Benny was your favorite.
No, yeah, Benny's my favorite.
No, Benny's my favorite, so you can have Uni-Kitty.
I go back and forth between Benny and Uni-Kitty myself, so...
Man, I did not know who Uni-Kitty was going into this. All I knew is there were like 500 minifigures of her spread across the toy line.
Yeah.
Meet them all.
When I saw the Cloud Cuckoo Palace at first, I'm like, what is this stupid thing? Give me my 2-in-1 sets. Give me this thing. Give me that thing. I'm not going to want that. Yeah, I want that.
Yeah, I bought it tonight. I was like, I need a Uni-Kitty in my life.
Is it bad that I'm actually kind of mad that Cloud Cuckoo Palace is only like a $25 set?
Yeah, it's a small set. Like, I want more because that whole land was awesome. Like, it was just so crazy.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, one of the best moments is, and again, like playing the humor so well and making it work for someone who isn't a little kid when they walk in there and you have this big demented, like two-legged tube monster like somersaulting over Emmet, and he's just like, I have no idea what's going on right now. It's like you and me both, Emmet. I'm right there with you. But yeah, Uni-Kitty, played by Alison Brie, who many may know from Community. So I had no idea who this character was going in, and holy crap, a layered character of something that could have been the most easy, like, we're just gonna stick a My Little Pony character in here kind of moment. And there's layers of this, like, this fragile, very self-deluded poor person who can't handle the concept of negativity. Like that whole scene in the submarine when she's watching the remains of Cloud Cuckoo Land like sink.
I
She
might
should keep swallowing it down.
I might have gotten a little bit of dust in my eyes at that first time. It's like, oh, that's so sad. And then she's just trying to be happy. Just stay happy.
And it really paid off when she finally, uncorked the rage.
Oh yeah.
Oh god, that scene was great.
And for a character that's only like a couple bricks, they did really well, like animating like her ears and her face and doing the different.
Oh yeah, using the cheese slopes as ears, and it was seeing her. I don't know if they also got rid of the little neck that she had at one point when it was just like seeing when you scold a pet. They kind of like ears back and neck down. I was like, oh, that's finding a nerve I didn't know I had there. Okay.
I also just like that her, like from the outset, that her very existence seems just completely ludicrous. Like she does not have any reason to be in that Lego world whatsoever, and like she looks like she is literally a collection of spare parts that formed into an entity. Yeah. And then ran away with being a really cool character. I really liked when she got mad how they actually made this like alternate giant head for every split second when she's like eating robot ships or whatever. That was great. That's Uni-Kitty was fantastic. And one of the reasons why the Cloud Cuckoo Palace set kind of bums me out is because I'm sitting there kind of going like, couldn't you have just done me a huge like meeting of the Master Builder set in this palette? Because how am I ever going to make that?
Maybe they will. That'll be some like last phase UCS craziness.
That would be badass.
Oh man, and imagine if that's also their whole like, okay, look, we know you all don't get Bricklink or whatever. Maybe you all missed out on Shaq. We're just gonna put them all in here. It's gonna be like a 30 minifigure giant arena set.
But I was actually surprised at the number of like the blind pack minifigs that were in there as some of those master builders.
Oh yeah.
On top of that, because it was like the dinosaur guy. Oh crap! I had a list of them.
Panda guy was in Cloud Cuckoo Land.
Yeah, the handy guy was in there. There were like 3 or 4 of them that are sitting in my minifigure collection. That was like that's one and that's one and that's one. I don't know. Have we had a Michelangelo before?
I was going to ask you guys if they'd done a Michelangelo.
No, not that I know of.
Because Shakespeare is in the movie set, and they had a bard or whatever they called him, the guy that had previously had the neck ruffle thing.
Yeah,
in one.
Well, and then to go back to the game, in that first sequence in the video game, you're playing like the Vitruvius versus Lord Business. The 8.5 years prior, and in a Lego game, you always have other characters that are playing with you. You could switch between, and I'm assuming these two are also master builders. So Shakespeare's with Vitruvius, but they also have Cleopatra.
Yeah.
And I don't remember she was in that scene or not because there were so many characters to take in. So
there was a snake thrown at one point.
Okay, so there you go. That's hers.
Right. Yeah, I think so.
And there was like red 80s something spaceman in the stands.
There was a red 80s spaceman and a white 80s spaceman as well.
I mean, I have some of those guys sitting around, but I would love to see those work back in rotation.
Gonna have to. Well, I guess spaceship comes with a Benny with a cracked helmet. So,
as does Sea Cow. So you'll get
Sea Cow does too. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to limit these purchases until I get a job.
Nope, straight to debt.
Yep, you're buying them.
Yeah.
That was quick.
You've hit your limit for freebies.
So I can't remember. I think he was in that scene. Was Speed Racer a master builder too?
I don't recall seeing Speed Racer
him in there.
outside of that one still image.
Yeah, Speed Racer got dropped in with like a whole bunch of the other themes that aren't important.
Oh no, he showed up again.
Did he? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, because when I saw him the second time, I said I got to look him up on Bricklink when I get home.
Okay.
And so when I got home, I ordered Speed Racer and Shaq because I was like, wow, Shaq is in the movie and Shaq is really doing the voice of Shaq. That's fucking awesome.
Yeah. Did you get yourself a Johnny Thunder and all that?
A Johnny Thunder? No.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't need to worry about
one
that.
In there.
Johnny Thunder's. They're doing Johnny Thunder, the Green Ninja, and Batman with the police dropship.
Yeah.
Oh, Batman's actually coming in the dropship, huh?
Yep.
Yeah. They're showing it with it. So.
And according to the news post I read, the cowl is modified again for that Batman to have slightly higher raised eyebrows.
Oh, I need that. I didn't see any information about minifigures for that set. Where'd you guys see that at?
Just came out. I think for Toy Fair stuff that's happening.
The Sea Cow? I think if you go to the
no, not the Sea Cow, the dropship.
Oh yeah, that was with the construction mech and the spaceship reveal.
Yeah, the dropship comes because it's the dropship that carries away the master builders. So you get like 3 of them, and then you get an Emmet, and you get 4 robot SWAT guys.
It was just a nice way of asking somebody to link me to it, and Aaron took care of it, so thanks.
I was just vocalizing stuff so the audience at home can come along with us.
As soon as that question dropped, I was headed to the Lego.
Oh yeah, that's a great picture. Nice.
Yeah. It's also great because I was worried about having to track down a Batman and a Green Ninja and going into Ninjago stuff and whatnot. And it's like, no, I'll just give you them in here. I'm like,
you can get a ton of Ninjago stuff for cheap. Just search Craigslist.
They got Ninjago for days, yo.
So I just got to say, we've been dancing around the other epic cameo.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Billy D. Williams.
God. He was so Billy D. Williams, wasn't he?
So
he was.
He
wasn't Lando. He was Billy D. Williams.
God, it was great that he's like, oh, okay, you're not interested? How about you, Batman? It's just like, God, he's going to have sex with anything. I love it.
So the best part of that was after the left punch of Bad Cop kicking a chair around for an entire minute, we got the right punch from the Robot Chicken camp of just Billy D. Williams showing up. Because that guy loves Robot Chicken.
Yeah.
And I have
Anthony
a feeling
Daniels
that was
in there too. That's why I was like, I don't think that was Harrison Ford doing
No, it wasn't, but that was Anthony Daniels for sure.
but it was close, and that was like definitely a credits watch to make sure of what we were actually seeing, because if they had actually gotten Harrison Ford for like the 2 lines, come on Harrison, come on.
Also, the timing on its reveal was like that was the second half of the running gag of Batman saying something getting cut off with it actually happening. It's another example of also fantastic comedic timing. Like the entire theater burst out laughing when the Millennium Falcon.
Where are we going to get a hyper? Oh, come on!
And I just love like how Wildstyle is kind of like yelling at Batman for something, and just the way they filmed it, where he's just looking at her, pulls out his grappling hook, still looking at her, just fires it off to the left, and zoop, he's out of frame. And she's like, "Are you kidding me?"
I'll text you.
It was so
That was actually
good.
when he got on the first try.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. So yeah, the Millennium Falcon and Billy D. Williams. Billy D. Williams just kicking ass. Even when they had that little cutaway of like, well, what happened to them? And he's like, fire up the warp engines, Chewie. And I was like, yeah, that's right, Billy D. Williams. Just get chopped.
Yeah, and at that point, I was like, oh wow, we're gonna sell out of a lot of Millennium Falcons this weekend, and we didn't sell any today.
Really?
Yeah, I was kind of shocked.
Can't get rid of those for anything.
A lot of people were just coming in buying pick-a-brick cups and Lego Movie minifigures. We went through like 10 cases of those minifigures today.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Were people just grabbing handfuls, or were they doing the fondling?
A mix of each. There was like a couple parents I saw that came in. They buy a like a mini pick-a-brick cup, just like put a whole bunch of random bricks in a cup and grab
They probably didn't
one
even push
minifigure,
them-
and it's like,
Probably
okay,
didn't even
here's
push
something
them
for the
together
kid.
to get maximum packaging, did they?
No. Like, you're the only psycho who does that, Aaron.
I'm too bashful to try because I don't know what I'm doing. So even if I start doing it and I try to like, no, listen, I know a trick, I'm not going to do it right.
Yeah.
And then I'm just going to be the guy who sat there trying to do something stupid for half an hour and didn't pull it off.
It's better that I do remember seeing somebody get one of these small cups, grabbing a handful of loose, like the barricade gates, and then putting a lid on it. I'm like, at least get some little stuff and shake it in between. Come on, just do that. Let's just do that. Come on, just do. No,
Aaron's like, here, give me your cup. I'll help
Yeah.
you.
You get
Listen.
a whole lot more.
You small-time troglodyte. I'm going to show you how you do this.
I might do that actually.
Cavemen. Yeah, man, Billy D. Williams. And that also came between, yet another action sequence of the invasion of Cloud Cuckoo Land. Also, I just want to mention, since we're talking about, something near that moment, the way they did the ocean. I mean, Aaron, you brought up the the physics side. It's such a visual treat to see. Like the whole stylization of the water was fantastic. And also, I really like the cutaway view when they just show Cloud Cuckoo Land just falling into the water. It's really effective. But this brings us to, I guess, one of the last main characters to talk about. What did you guys think of MetalBeard?
Yar, he was a great character.
Shouts everything.
I didn't think I'd care for him too much, but I thought he did a good job. And that was another one of those cases where like I said earlier, I just started watching Parks and Rec kind of, and what's his name? Ron Swanson. Can't think of his real name off the top of my head right now. Voicing MetalBeard, and even though knowing who it was, I couldn't picture that voice coming out of that guy. So
the funniest thing about MetalBeard was when you see him before he became the robot MetalBeard, and he's a minifigure, but still has that enormous beard thing stuck on the bottom.
Yeah.
I want that as a minifigure. Like, I'm hoping that's somewhere in the works.
I really want to upgrade my MetalBeard because the one in the movie had like gold chrome parts everywhere. Now I feel like mine's not cool anymore.
That was one thing I did notice, is the chest that has his sausage and bone in it has a different layout with the lock and one of those gold 1x1s next to it over the way that it's built. I was like, I'm gonna have to fix that when I get home.
Well,
I need one to be able to transform into that weird singing, dancing thing.
Can't keep him down on the farm.
And the photocopier.
Yeah, I need one that turns into a photocopier.
Yeah.
I forgot about the
Who thought there'd be a
photocopier.
transformer in this movie?
Oh,
right?
God. There was some serious mass shifting going on there. That's bullshit.
Yeah, it's friggin' hammer space.
There you go. There's a negative. Bullshit. Mass shifting.
Color palette wasn't even the same. Nonsense. My MetalBeard can't do that.
the only one that can talk to the computer, though. So
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
God, that was good.
Yar be shutting down yon force fields, verily.
Poor Benny.
I liked how frustrated Benny was getting. Charlie
But any-
Day is great.
But anybody that's ever dealt with Siri knows exactly what that is. Find the nearest Walmart. Looking for Armenian food. What? No. What? Where did you get that?
Oh man, yeah, MetalBeard. His whole backstory moment too was a really. I knew it going in because that was one of the few spoilers I got because it's all over any kind of MetalBeard information pre-release talked about his failed attempt to challenge Lord Business, but the whole way they delivered him was is just bigger than I was expecting. Like having a MetalBeard kit this whole time, like sitting on my desk, I thought I was attuned to what the character looked like, and they made him look so much bigger than life in the movie. Probably because also in the film his build was, I believe, slightly different and more beefed. But he was pretty good, and the way that they had the sea cow show up. If we're going to talk about anything that sells a set, that the way they showed how huge the ship looked really got me itching for that silly $250 set coming out in less than 10 days.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't want to be saying.
Well,
I want to be saying.
Hopefully, it's less than 10 days. I don't know. I could be wrong on that.
I really want to not have any interest in that, but aside from being a big cool ship, it also has like this other MetalBeard build, and I'm like, what if I take that MetalBeard and this MetalBeard and slap them together into like...
The other one looks a lot smaller. The other one looks like it might max out at about the size of the big one's torso.
What if I use its parts to beef out the big one?
Maybe that's how they meant for it to be all along.
I know.
You can make the true MetalBeard.
Oh no! The true MetalBeard is when, once I have no more storage space for the sea cow, when I build that onto MetalBeard for his true body. That's going to be the true MetalBeard. I've already been thinking about that in my head, like, because that's going to be the fate of my sea cow eventually. I just don't know how it's going to happen yet.
Just make it the full size, the human height MetalBeard.
Yeah, but build all of it onto the core torso, so it still has those joints deep inside its body. And MetalBeard was interesting because he also shows up really late in the movie. And he is, I guess, of all the quote-unquote main characters, he's probably the weakest just for his lack of time to really build and get any layers. Like, I think he's the most two-dimensional character of the bunch. Mm-hmm. And I was a little disappointed that he didn't have more of an action moment in the big final set piece, given that he has a whole set called MetalBeard's Duel. I thought that meant, like, oh, we're going to get the whole bit of him fighting off micromanagers. And he was, but... often more so in a large shot than his own kind of deal. So maybe this just means we need to have MetalBeard the movie as well. Just give me a MetalBeard movie. Give me a Bad Cop movie.
I could see the MetalBeard movie being like the DVD Blu-ray add-on.
Yeah,
thing, like a 10-minute short that's tossed in with the movie.
Yeah, man, I'm also just recharging my head here. I'm gassing out. Holy crap. Got any other thoughts on MetalBeard and the Sea Cow or Cloud Cuckoo Land? Or shall we press on?
One thing I want to say about the Sea Cow set that's coming out, that I don't think we mentioned this at all yet. And I didn't notice it until after seeing the movie, looking at the front of the box, that it comes with a double-decker couch.
That's right. That's
At
right.
the end of the movie, I was like, I'm going to go home and build that double-decker couch. And I saw it on the box. I was like, yes, I don't have to. The double-decker couch life raft. How
An
great
idea
is
so
that?
dumb that nobody would suspect it.
I'm happy that that's getting a representation. But I don't think we can fit minifigures inside of it because that was also some of that nonsense mass shifting. So,
Yeah. Use Lego space for it.
But yeah, that was also what led to what led to what felt like could have easily been the end of the movie, which is them invading Lord Business's tower and getting all that business done. Wow, I didn't even mean to do that. Damn. delivery ship they make, was that any kind of reference to anything, or was that an original design?
That's original as far as I know. It looks like it shares a lot of stuff with like the Octan fuel truck.
Mm-hmm.
That would probably go, buying that would probably go a long way to building that piece.
Okay, I wasn't sure, because the whole Octan thing is like an enormous like in-joke, right? Like the Octan is the...
Octan for a long time was just like the fuel company, because they actually, I have a set that was a Shell gas station, and then at some point they decided not to license something like that, and instead came up with Octan, which is their own. It's the green and white color scheme. And
yeah, you'll see that on a lot of gas-related things in a lot of sets.
Any fuel stuff, any like the race car stuff, they'll always have like an Octan sticker because that's their fuel. And
in
it's
fact,
just, and it seems like just for the movie that they went outside of being fuel, and now it's on everything.
Oh yeah, because it's like the only like thing that's really like a corporation related entity within the Lego world. They even have like at Legoland theme park, there's like an Octan Racers ride, and you're driving little, drive yourself cars. It's for like kids, really little kids, like learning to drive type of game. And I can't think of anything else that could have fit that bill. That's why Octan became like the big evil corporation.
Became like by and large from Wall-E. It's everything.
Yeah.
What was it? Textbooks, voting machines. Hey, wait a second.
That also answers my question about the delivery truck. That was burning in the back of my head since I saw the movie. So, so that takes us into the tower and into.
Yeah, I thought the planning for that was done really well, like the back and forth.
Yeah, the time skipping was a great touch. Especially, I mean, it was a great punchline for the Bruce Wayne joke, obviously.
Bruce Wayne, who's that? He sounds like an all right guy. Yeah.
Is that Bruce Wayne minifigure a real thing?
Yeah, he comes with Arkham, I think, or the Batcave.
Man,
is he in the Batcave? I didn't.
Oh, let me look him up because I'm pretty sure I have him already.
Okay.
1 second, guys.
Yeah, because I mean, I was just wondering once I saw that, I was like, I don't recall there being a Bruce Wayne minifigure, but if there is, again, great use of resources.
Yeah.
It also answered the long running speculation as to what business Kitty was, because I remember that was a big topic of discussion for a while.
Graphs, math. Am I distracting you?
Yes.
Am I doing this right? Was it? Am I distracting you, or am I doing it right?
I think it was. Is this working?
Is this working?
Maybe,
is this working?
Is it.
That was a great line. Is this working? Yes. Yay. That whole
there
sequence
are
was
2 Bruce Wayne minifigures.
Yeah, there is one with the Batcave. That is your cheapest way to get Bruce Wayne at the moment.
$68.60. The Batcave.
just go buy the Batcave.
Or eBay.
Yeah. Well, the way that sometimes those prices go, you might be better off buying the Batcave and taking the minifigure out of it and then selling the parts as without minifigs and not spending nearly as much.
Yeah, or you could just brick link the individual minifigure, but there might be a lot of other people trying to do that now as well.
Yeah.
Man, this movie must have just made Bricklink traffic triple.
That's why it's like as soon as I got home, I'm like, okay, I need Shaq before he goes away.
Yeah. But yeah, the whole plan, the whole sequence of trying to cork the Kragle. That I really liked how that went. But and I suppose I'll bring up one last little negative. The way that it failed, I didn't actually quite understand how it failed. Like, he was right there, and he turns around and goes like, "Yo, you're in trouble," and I didn't get how him turning also resulted in him not getting the cork on the super glue. Like, I felt like it's just like a slight disconnect there. Like, I kind of paused for a second. I was like, why didn't that work? So that's something I'm going to keep an eye out for the next time I watch it. But I don't know. Was there any real standout other moments from that sequence for you guys? Aaron?
Oh. We had Benny, I don't know, I guess it's after that when Benny gets to use the 80s technology.
Yeah.
for the Where's My Pants movie, the TV show set to get to do that. But no, before that, not really, because it's the other thing that is in my mind is the whole getting the shields down with the talking computer.
Yeah. The way they did the face for the talking computer was pretty cool.
Mhm.
Like this 2D screen, but like still...
It's still all bricks.
Yeah. I guess like there was a, the touching character scene where you find out Wildstyle's real name, but that felt a bit more of a by the books moment in the movie for me, so it didn't really stick out too much.
Yeah, a little bit. It was her maybe stepping away from her alt lifestyle or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, there was a kind of neat moment where she's like, I wanted to be the special one or whatever, and that was interesting. But yeah, it's weird. Like I like for what was kind of a big action sequence, a lot of it kind of rolled off me compared to some other stuff that happened in the film. And it also led us to see what the think tank was, which was something else I'd been really wondering about ever since, Lord Business's evil lair was on toy shelves. Because he had it has the 2 sections of think tank in it where you stick the luchador guy in, and I was like, what is happening to people in there? And that whole reveal, like putting the final cherry on top of the villainization of Lego instructions, that's pretty rough. Because it was like a weird like semi-Soylent Green moment of like, did you know all Lego instructions come from hundreds of captured imaginative people who are strapped into a machine?
But that's actually how they do it in Denmark.
I wasn't going to say that out loud, but I suppose. But as far as like this all this stuff up until I guess up until we have our one moment of horrible gruesome violence. Ken, anything else stick out for you from the in tower sequences?
Yeah, there's the 2-second during the planning phase with Vitruvius on lookout.
Oh yeah, forgot about that.
And then the other one I really enjoyed was when Wildstyle's making the kind of the announcement to everybody. They cut back to New Zealand and he's like doing the town crier in the middle of the woods.
That was fantastic.
No, that's Middle Zealand.
Middle Zealand?
Yeah, I think so. Middle Zealand.
And do you realize what that scroll is? That's a door. Is what the scroll is. It's a door with a 1x1 cylinder underneath it.
Didn't even realize.
Like a scroll. Yeah.
Oh man.
It's like, and those verily.
I was trying to think of anything else that really stuck out to me there. The whole bit with Vitruvius getting his big action sequence had one real nice touch that I do recall, which was him idly building a walker while talking about how he's old.
Oh yeah. What is it? I call it experience, and then goes crazy.
Well, if you notice, he's using the walker basically as like a giant set of tubes to catch lasers and fling them back at guys. Like
they did it in Spaceballs first.
Yeah, like he was like using them as funnels to reflect laser fire, because in Lego world, lasers are physical, like, translucent red sticks that fly through the air.
The lightsabers blades.
Yeah.
And the bullet hits are like the flower pieces.
I didn't even notice that. It's crazy.
Didn't notice that either.
But that also led us to something I was not expecting, which was the freaking decapitation of Vitruvius.
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah.
That was
with a penny.
Yeah, that was a moment where, especially when, as a friend of mine was asking me if she wants to go see this with her 5-year-old, I was kind of sitting there, and she didn't want to know any spoilers, but I was like, if there's any one moment in this movie that might really mess with a 5-year-old, possibly be technically a full on-screen decapitation.
Yeah, but
I
you know
was
what?
kind
I've
of
got a
shocked
minifig
that that was
right
in
here.
there.
I just decapitated him.
You're a horrible person.
I just recapitated him.
Okay, you're a bit of a less horrible person, but still pretty horrible.
It's one of the robot police guys. It's okay.
Oh yeah, whatever. You just do whatever you want to those guys. Yeah, Dan, you were saying that kind of caught you off guard.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine for me, but yeah, it is a kid's movie, and I know we're talking about toys here, but you got this thing and chop its head off, and then he goes X eyes, and then he becomes a ghost. It's kind of jacked up that they put that in a kid's movie, but
How long that was drawn out, though.
yeah,
Like the head rolls over to him. Emmet, come here. I have something to tell you about the prophecy.
Yeah, I was really on a pendulum during that, because first he gets his head cut off, and I'm like, you just did what? And then the head's sitting there having this long, drawn-out conversation. I'm like, oh, you're playing it for jokes. Then the X-eyes happen. I'm like, wait, you just did what? And then he shows up as a ghost on a string, and I'm like, I can't deal with this swinging back and forth thing. Like,
they definitely have a lot of balls. They are very confident in the product they were putting out there with this movie, and I'm just surprised at the chances they took, and that being one of them. And that's the part, like, tomorrow when my daughter's seeing it, I don't know if I'm gonna just cover her eyes or just be like, oh, let's just let this happen and answer any questions she has. I don't know.
yeah, a real-life person you can't do that to.
Yeah, no, nobody can ever do that. It's against the rules.
Yeah, nor can you do it with a penny, because that's impossible.
Yeah, you can only do this with your toys. It's like, well, you can do that with your toys, not Daddy's toys.
Yeah.
He's come home and all the heads on your toys are ripped off.
And she drew little X eyes on everybody.
Just don't let her get a Q-tip and nail polish.
Oh, the Relic Room was so good, especially when they do the callback and when they disguise themselves as robots by just like taking pieces of duct tape and sticking them over their faces.
That was gum wrapper.
That was gum wrapper?
Yeah, from like Big Red gum, the foil gum wrappers.
Oh, okay. For some
Because
reason,
her feet had the like jagged edge of it.
okay, I did not catch that. And again, a lot of things I don't catch are all because so much is going on visually in this movie.
Yeah.
Like,
And I believe Spaceship comes with those, right? I think Emmet and Wildstyle are the gum wrapper versions.
I think that they're the robot versions. Yeah,
Emmet is at least. I thought Wildstyle might be in a spacesuit if I saw the photo the right way, but I might be mistaken. I know you that disguise Emmet is in there. That disguise sequence was pretty fun. That was a great final callback to Everything Is Awesome. And also continued to show it as this kind of like weaponized song.
Wildstyle looks like she's in a blue outfit.
I don't remember
the one picture is from the side on the spaceship.
I don't remember what she was wearing aside from the gum wrapper.
Yeah, I don't.
I'll keep an eye out for that when I see the movie a second time tomorrow. But yeah, this all leads to, we have the decapitation of Vitruvius, and then we have the introduction of the 9-volt battery, which was another part of the evil lair that no one really knew what it was for. And also, the evil lair builds both the Kragle and the battery out of Lego, implying that they would be made out of Lego in the film. But no, another swerve. It is just a battery.
Uh-huh.
And the only thing I found myself questioning was, would a 9-volt battery actually be able to electrocute to death a person made of plastic?
Depends on how much they rely on. I don't know.
Yeah, you see? I had no idea it was going to... I was almost going like, Emmet, why are you jumping out the window? This might be unnecessary. It probably was necessary, but...
Well, maybe that was just the thing controlling and there was a power source elsewhere.
Yeah. I don't know. It also explained the infinity window, another part of the evil lair set that made no sense.
Yeah.
But I think I'm just realizing the thing we haven't really touched on yet in this whole discussion is the Kragle, the TM Crazy Glue brand Crazy Glue bottle that has some letters smudged out. I heard that Lego actually got in touch with Crazy Glue, the company, to clear the use of, the spelled with a K Crazy Glue labeled bottle, or the logo on the bottle. Do any of you guys have any knowledge on that, or because I know I read that somewhere in discussions of the film.
I know I read it somewhere too where they got the okay for it, but I don't remember what the specifics of it were.
Yeah, but man, that was the one thing where I kind of wish I hadn't seen the Evil Lair set, because they did kind of keep the Kragle as a bit of a secret up until, the use of it on Ma and Pa Cop.
Yeah.
And what a great villain for a Lego movie, Superglue. Yeah. Like, it was only about a year or two ago, Aaron, on WTFTFW, where I was asking you, with complete innocence and naivety, I was like, so, do you guys just, like, super glue the Lego sets together once you built the big things? Like, I heard they glue those together.
No.
Aaron just, like, he was, like, just, like, chewing on his finger, and he's like, no, they don't glue them together.
Well, for the big professional builds, they will glue together sections, so that then you have, like, 8 or 10 sections of a human-sized minifigure, or human-sized statue thing to move around.
And it's only like, and that, because I've seen that firsthand with the big 8-foot tall Hulk that we built for our store opening, and a lot of that is still like just kind of like internal core pieces for stability. That, and like I think the headpiece was already glued together, but other than that, yeah, it's built as it would be out of a box.
Yeah. And like just to have super glue as the antagonistic force of nature in this film. I thought it was pretty funny, but I don't know, like Dan, you're a man deep in the Lego. What did you think of the use of super glue in this film?
I thought it was hilarious, and but I also thought it was odd because if they're painting Will Ferrell as like the AFOL, I don't think any AFOL would be using super glue for their build. So I mean, the nerd inside of me was like watching that part going, oh my gosh, why would he even be using super glue? That's so unrealistic. But by the same token, yeah, I mean, that's an excellent, anti-Lego thing. So yeah, it's the perfect, secret weapon against Lego. And
I like that super glue is the thing that brought you out of this movie.
Yeah.
It's like, that is so unbelievable. If he had that kind of like display downstairs, he wouldn't be using super glue.
Well, like I said, I could see that being for like the buildings. If you're putting that much investment into parts to build an office building, maybe that's something that gets kept together if he goes places with it. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, but then he was just like globbing that stuff onto that poor fire truck
and gluing it to the frame or to the base plates and things. That's
the sad thing is, like, I've known about the crazy glue thing for a while thanks to the set, and kind of figured it out in the beginning of the movie when he said Kragle, because I remember in the set, some of like the letters were kind of rubbed off of the label for crazy glue, but it still took me a good while to figure out what the piece of resistance was. I was like I don't remember at what point in the movie it hit me, but I was like, holy shit, that's the fucking cap to super glue. That is amazing.
Well, after the long con of, like, this was the toy line being part of the experience here. They make this demented new piece for the toy line to be the piece of resistance, like this really weird, like, as I understand it, dimensionally, the piece of resistance brick is like really like weird and like a little bit outside of the mathematics of how bricks are often designed. Like that's something I swear I heard or read in some review. And so they create this new brick.
So I'm going to take a look at it.
Yeah. Like as I understand it, it's some kind of like it is a completely new brick.
It's a 1x1 double height with a hole in the side of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's something I'd never seen before.
And that's a great way to completely mask what it really is. Because it's like, why would you ever think it? Because by making it a new brick in the toys, Lego completely, I think, had everyone thinking in the movie it would also be a Lego brick. And it totally wasn't. That was just genius.
Yeah.
Trying to figure out now and recall where we are here in the timeline of things. Actually, speaking of the piece of resistance, what do you guys think it was encased in underground? Because like now in retrospect, when I think about that scene, I'm trying to figure out like any kind of symbolism in.
I think it seemed like it was stuck in glue or something. Because that's the only. It could because it looked like the same stuff that was then left on his back after the knife of exact zero took it off of him.
The sword of exact zero.
The sword of exact zero took it off of him, so it was maybe stuck in some fresh super glue.
Yeah, maybe. Is it bad that because we have so many, like, you know, if someone collects these movie sets like I am, and I have, like, you know, 4 or 5 Emmets already, is it bad that I want to take one and actually physically glue a super glue cap to his back?
Nope, that's not bad at all. Just don't do it to your Western Emmet.
Or pajama.
Yeah. Don't do it to the rare ones.
Yeah. Just take one of the stock Emmets. I really want to do that now. Just make my screen accurate Emmet.
So then if you want to get really creative with it, you can also then make one after it's been cut off if you have enough Emmets.
I probably will, yeah. Just glue it to one, knife it off, and then glue it to another one. I'd be up for that. Yeah, I guess the only other thing I can think of for us to talk about would be like the big action sequence of everyone building the 2-for-1 sets.
Yeah.
Which was one of the I think the only really toy commercial moment of the whole thing for me, like in terms of something I would really call out for being a toy commercial, was that moment of just kind of like building the 2-for-1 sets. Because if anything, it kind of made me pause and go like, I wonder what constituted of all the designs we're seeing, like why some of these were made into 2-in-1 sets and why some weren't.
All the ones that they featured were. Or if they're not 2-for-1s, they're in sets.
What about the Cat Lady Chariot? That one hasn't been made in anything yet, right?
That's the only one I can think of. And you didn't really... It really didn't get the feature shot, because I know that the Garbage Chomper one did, the Flying Flusher did, the Ice Cream Truck did, the Castle Pod Racery thing did, the Fire Mech thing had a couple of glory moments.
Mm-hmm.
The Flying Kebab Stand was in there. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. And I know I saw the farmhouse gyro thing as well.
Oh, yeah.
And then the saloon biplane. Yeah, I guess they did really cover all of them. And also in that sequence was something that I'm really looking forward to, which was the Emmet's construction mech.
Yeah.
Just friggin' badass. The only thing I'm kind of disappointed about is that the real life one, just is having seen it on screen first, the real life one seems a little bit too small.
Yeah, well, I think had they gone for the movie version, it would have been like it's already going to be a pricey set, I think, with 700 pieces on it, so it'll probably be about a $70 set.
I'm actually surprised it's not more.
Yeah, do you think?
Yeah,
do you think
I
if
think
I just
those
get
are some huge pieces there? I don't think there's a whole lot of smalls in that, but I think if they had gone for the movie accurate size, it probably would have been a 150 or more set, and they already have a lot of that at the high end with spaceship.
I'm just wondering if you double up on the construction mech, if you can just kind of like, you know, just
probably
take the instructions and do them twice, you know, like take every.
Why do you need instructions? You keep falling back to that. If you're buying 2 of them to build up, why?
He's not a master builder yet.
Yeah, I'm still learning.
Give it time.
Yeah. Okay, what you need to do is they actually have a master builder set that you can go buy. Oh,
Dan,
I'm doing your job for you here, Dan. Come on.
Dan he's my Vitruvius. He's showing me the way. Look at this triple-decker couch I made.
You have to take his hair off, grab his head.
There you go.
This is a bit of a tangent. It's a bit of a tangent, but actually I wanted to ask you guys, because I had one major crit on the minifigure blind bag set, which is that a number of those minifigures I thought really should have had a second face tampographed on them, given like their headpieces. Is that a big budgetary hit when they do a second face on a minifigure?
I don't see why. The big budgetary hit is when you have to mold a new piece.
Yeah, new pieces.
That's like $200,000 process right there just to make that mold.
Yeah.
I can't recall. Do we ever get dual faces in blind bags?
Yeah.
There are a few, but there are some that
Scribble Face Cop.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
It is 2 faces, and I'm surprised we've not talked about that one yet.
We're getting there.
We talked about it while you were absent.
Yeah.
Oh.
We left you out.
I was wondering why Liam Neeson was getting no love.
Oh, I know. He was the
Liam
first
some
one I
love.
brought up. I was like, Liam Neeson was the best actor in the movie.
Did I mention he was my favorite?
Fucking Ken.
He plays
but yeah,
Paw Cop too.
I don't see that being a budgetary thing at all for a Tampograph. I mean, maybe there is some. I'm assuming there's always a cost associated with something.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
There's going to be more expense because they're doing more, but that's not a make or break thing.
Because a number of those minifigs, I was just really surprised. Like, I think Cat Lady, No Pants Guy, the Mermaid Queen, Lincoln, they all have, you know, a full head cover that would mask a second face. And I was like, man, where are my second faces at?
I mean,
But
hell,
then it's
the
like-
mime came with 3 heads.
That's
To show different possibilities for faces because you couldn't do the double printing because the back of his head was exposed.
Man.
And there was like, you know, I mean, it's not like that series had the minifigures were any more expensive or anything like that. So yeah, I mean, I don't get it.
Yeah. It was weird. Just a number of them really felt like they, and, you know, having seen the movie where everyone has an animate face, I was like, man, like every one of these minifigures should have had a second face. Like it would have been super on topic.
The rumor is that Benny will have 2 faces, I believe, on the sea cow. That you'll have the typical Benny face with the, you know, tongue hanging out, and the flip side will be the classic smiley face. So that's just a rumor. Don't know if that's true.
I hope so. I mean, he's got a full-on helmet. That dude has zero excuse.
Holy crap. I just realized that the Sea Cow sails are Technic fenders.
Yep, that's why
Yep.
I like it. It's a pirate ship that doesn't have cloth sails.
I'm going to go look at a picture of it.
Yeah, I really like the look of the sea cow.
I noticed that on the sea cow in the movie. I was like, oh, surely it's not. You know, they'll go for the cloth sales, not a whole bunch of Technics. No, they're going for Technics pieces. Okay.
Oh, wow. I never noticed that.
Yeah, I'm so happy about that.
That's cool.
It's it gives it this just really cool, unique look to it.
Yeah. Well, the Sea Cow and actually Lord Business's pants had some really cool like lighting effects too that I know there's no way to really do them in Lego, but man, it'd be neat if you could have like that stuff like start glowing. Also, I meant to mention way back, I love the sequence of President Business suiting up into Lord Business, like the secret stud on the way to the meeting room. It's so good.
The Iron Man gantry scene.
Yeah, I couldn't remember what it was called. Gantry. Thank you.
I'm very distracted. I just saw a picture of a big close-up of MetalBeard Sea Cow. That's
Ooh,
distracting.
share with the group.
It's on Flickr. That is highly distracting. I don't know where this is from. It looks like it's from a featurette. Where were we? We're kind of. I think we've covered a lot of the film at this point.
Ah, yes, I have seen that. Okay.
Yeah.
There's a cow on there.
What? Oh my god!
Yeah. Did you not know this is the sea cow? That's part of.
I didn't know there was like a literal cow.
Yeah.
On this.
Yeah, I didn't. I
Yeah.
do not remember seeing it before. That's amazing. This set is gonna rule.
I'm stoked for this thing. I didn't notice before either. The sea cow. It looks like it actually really is an economically sized set because it's tall.
Yeah,
Like that's where a lot of its mass is going.
I just have to find a place to display that thing when it's built.
I'll just cram it into a detolf.
Do is you just replace your hood emblem with that.
Well, then you need the Kragle to keep it together while
Yeah.
you're driving.
Oh, the Kragle. Release the Kragle.
That was a good line.
Yeah.
Is there anything else specifically from the movie you guys want to touch on? Because I feel like we've at least dipped our fingers into most of the moments in the film.
I kind of love, after all is said and done, at the end of the movie, we got some credits going on. Not to mention Batman's amazing song, by the way. But that there was an acoustic version of Everything is Awesome that plays during the credits.
Yeah.
Like, Jesus Christ. Like, they just thought of everything. I loved it.
Yeah, well, yeah, there are there are very few opportunities to take things an extra mile in that film that were like very few of those opportunities were untouched. Like they really grabbed everything they could and just pushed it real hard.
It's the people who dreamed up this movie and the product associated with the movie just had so much fun doing it, and it shows, and I love it. And, you know, they're already talking rumors of a sequel, so I just hope that they can continue along this same path. And
so is it going to be Duplo invading then? Is that what the sequel's going to be?
I really hope so.
I'm sure that'll at least be the opening.
Yeah.
This is where Dan gets all his Blacktron.
Yes.
Dan won't be the only one getting all the Blacktron.
See, it's a perfect way to revisit some old stuff. Like, we are finally going to be getting a classic space-themed set.
Yes.
And I am so happy, and I hope that anybody out there listening who was ever a fan of classic space buys it, support it. Maybe we'll get more. Maybe we'll get something.
Yeah. But the one thing I will say is I liked the Superman Green Lantern couple of moments through there, especially since that's the now kind of becoming a duo of Channing Tatum and his name just dropped,
Jonah Hill.
Yeah. I was like, hey, but oh god, you again? Gee, okay, yeah. No,
So
I gotta go back to Krypton. I gotta thing.
Didn't it blow up?
Yeah.
Yep.
I'll save you. Oh no, I'm super stuck. God damn it.
Anyone have any kryptonite?
Tonight, yeah. just anybody know? Okay.
Yeah. I was just actually remembering one of the last things I could bring up is actually from the pre-show. So did you guys all get a Creo commercial?
I did not.
I got a
did not.
commercial. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people got a Creo commercial, but here in Toronto, this is actually one of my favorite parts of the movie experience. Here in Toronto, we did not have a Creo commercial. Someone bought that spot away from them. We had a Tenkai Nights commercial. And not only that, but apparently, according to the Tenkai Nights... See, I tagged the Tenkai Nights Twitter account because it's run by someone who seems to be really on the ball. And I said, like you know, holy crap, shots fired, right? And they were like, oh, right, we did do that. Did you get any handouts as well? And I'm like, what are you talking about? They not only bought the ad space, as far as I know, in most of Ontario... but they actually had Tenkai Nights reps go to see the movie and give out Tenkai Nights to people at the movie. And I was like, that is someone who is getting into the attitude of everything going on here without even being from the same company.
Yeah.
Like that was kind of, I thought that was kind of neat. And also I was once again a little disappointed in Mega Bloks, another Canadian company. Like it felt like everyone but Mega Bloks is understanding the energy going on right now. And maybe it's because they're based out of Quebec. I don't know. Some francophone standoffishness happening there. As I offend all of our all of our Quebecois listeners here. But that was kind of a fun. That was like the movie hadn't even started, and I almost wanted to bust out my phone to tweet like, "Yo, Tenkai Nights, what's up?" Like before we even got into trailers. But I guess I don't know, any other specific moments you guys have in mind that you'd like to touch on?
Oh, so many.
I'm just trying to think of things like a lot of things that are on sale were in the movie. The secret police speeder polybag, was that showing up in the film anywhere? Anyone remember seeing that?
I'm sure it's probably in the background. I don't remember picking it out though.
No, because they had maybe. I'm just trying to think, because they had the motorcycle thing that came down the monorail. They had the big drop ship. They had a car that's not. I don't think is the one that comes in the motorcycle set. The one that becomes the hover car for Bad Cop.
Yeah, the tired
that's a
version.
Unique thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Also the copper chopper.
Yeah.
Which,
ooh, I want a copper chopper.
Yeah, that sounded like something that's going to be in something, like the way that it got name dropped.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. Unless we have anything else specific to bring up, I guess this would be a good place to move into just overall thoughts on the film. and in our case, overall thoughts on the film outside of it was good. Because I think it kind of goes without saying that we probably all think it's a pretty good movie. Unless anyone disagrees. Like,
no, it's...
Secretly, did any of you guys actually hate this thing?
No, it was good. And it's something that I tried that, I mean, you know, I gushed right after seeing it. And some people came back to me on Twitter like, yeah, but you're a big Lego guy, and da-da-da-da-da. I'm like, no, even as a movie, this is a good movie. As, you know, anybody that follows me is going to have some sort of toy to them. And if you're somebody that is a person that can still connect with that kind of childhood glee of getting a new toy and playing with it, or the Lego aspect of it, or any of that, it's an insanely good movie. And even for people that aren't into toys, there's still so much just joy of that sort of thing that comes through, that it's good film, and it's really easy to get a hold of and get your touch point to.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really glad we could talk about it here, because I didn't want to be one of those guys that just overhyped everything. It's like, I thought it was really good and I wanted to talk about it, but I don't want to be the person that overhypes everything and then maybe ruins the expectation for the person that hasn't seen it yet, because I've had that happen for me before.
Oh, and I think it is definitely going to happen with this film for anyone who doesn't see it in the first week. Like, just the resounding praise everywhere is going to eventually... Like, someone is going to go into this film expecting way too much out of it. And that's going to be an unfortunate experience for them. That's why I also was really pushing everyone I knew, like, that they should just see it now before the whole attitude towards it affects their ability to actually just take it in and enjoy it. But yeah, Ken, I guess you enjoyed it. Dan, were you just like, hey, where's my Blacktron?
Yeah, I was like, guys, I missed M-Tron. Like, work some of that in there.
Yeah.
Come on, guys.
Yeah, take it seriously, you small timers.
Where's Space Police?
Yeah,
They're
exactly.
not super secret police.
No, I mean, we've kind of dropped a lot of resounding praise on it. Anybody who follows me on Twitter knows that I've just, like, I think my first tweet afterwards was everything was awesome. And
that's everyone's first tweet coming out.
It was just a real fantastic experience. I mean, not only do I feel just like this incredible sense of pride actually being, kind of a part of the Lego family, even, in the small, reduced sense that I am. But I'm seeing this resounding positivity and praise for it all over Twitter. And it's not people who are necessarily Lego fans, and that's kind of like giving me some pride. It's like, wow, I've been, a lot of us here have been with Lego for a long time, and it's cool to see like this thing get out there and it be so universally accepted. I mean, it's 97% positive on Rotten Tomatoes, certified fresh. Out of 116 reviews, there's only 4 negatives, and the 2 that I read were ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's baffling to me. Like, I knew that I would like this movie. I was like, okay, there's really a low chance of me not liking it. But what I was shocked to see is so many other people liking it and saying, no, go see this. And seeing the reactions people are taking away from it. Like, I think Pia posted something that when they got back from the movie, his daughter took apart one of her sets and wanted to build it her own way. And like, how cool is that?
Yeah. Yeah, the message of the movie is just, it's so simple but so uplifting. And like I said, it's so brave for Lego to give this uplifting, positive message that in many ways undermines their very business structure, for the sake of having a good film that people will want to see again and people will want to remember. I guess we all liked it. Ken, I mean, I know, Ken, you came out of the film tweeting in all caps, like, kind of fragmented words, but I'm not sure if that means you liked it. Like, maybe you were just so agog at how terrible it was that you were trying to vocalize your thoughts.
No, it was much better than I was even expecting, and so I think I was on like a Lego movie high for 6 hours after I came out of the theater, and that's why it was so annoying that I had to work until like 9 o'clock that night. So
Yeah.
I couldn't go let out that the need to build things. But yeah, I mean, I'm really glad that this is something that, you know, could have been just kind of a shill, you know, toy movie, but it turned out to be something much more than that. So I hope others kind of take note and be like, okay, we can do these kind of product placement type, you know, toy movies, but we don't need to make them crazy over the top or dumb and I don't know. If they do a sequel, I wouldn't mind. I hope it's not kind of phoned in. It's kind of like some of the Pixar stuff has been recently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't mind seeing like a Transformers Generation style line of Lego from here this point on, where they just kind of throw in whatever they want to do into a Lego movie line.
That would be really cool to kind of just have this ongoing, like, because I mean, and that's part of what drew me to the Lego movie theme is just how it's all encompassing, but also it's never like all these bits and pieces. Like there's a kind of unifying feel to all of it, while like every kid is like so different aesthetically. And it's like everything I for some reason it's making me realize is everything I've wanted out of Lego is like something that isn't bound to a very specific theme. And in my own case, like, you know, you three guys are pretty into Lego, and I mean, I bought a whole bunch of Lego as a result of this movie. I watched the movie with the Bad Cop Pursuit set in my bag next to me, which made me feel like possibly the worst person in the world, because I was completely and utterly like the perfect person for Lego the company at that moment. Like, I just went and bought some Lego, now I'm watching the Lego movie, and I'm gonna go home and build some Lego. But like, I'm not a super big Lego person. It would be disingenuous of me to claim I am, because the only reason why I am right now is because of this movie. So when I watched it, like, I was just a toy fan. And what you guys said is spot on. This is a movie. Lego is the company that made this movie, but this movie is a great film, and it is a great touchstone for any toy fan, if not, like, you know, a lot of other people. But toy fans specifically, I feel, could get so much out of this film. And if you are a toy enthusiast, this film is, I think, really important for reasons we've stated several times now. That, you know, it could be the one that proves to companies and people with money that you don't have to make your movie into a big product placement shill piece.
Yeah.
To sell product. You can sell product because the film was good. And that's what the Lego movie does so well, I think. Very, very well worth anyone's time. For all the praise we're giving it, remember it is also, at the end of the day, kind of just a cute and very clever children's movie. So, you know, if you go in expecting too much, you're not going to get that. you're going to get what the movie has to give. I've also been trying to figure out who's not going to like the movie. I feel bad saying this, but primarily I've drawn it down into two types of people. Number one, people who were tricked into seeing the film, and number two, homicidal sourpusses. So if you're one of those two demographics, you might not dig this thing. Bear that in mind. But yeah, any other stuff you guys want to dish on the Lego movie or its associated physical media? Anything else that comes to mind? Micromanagers are pretty awesome. That's all I got.
Yeah, they had a voice I totally wasn't expecting.
It sounded like it was Will Ferrell doing a high-pitched voice.
That very well could have been it.
Just really funny.
I would like to see that. I saw some video of Liam Neeson doing good cop, bad cop stuff. And it was interesting to see him go, because he'd have like the kind of taken squinty eyes talking really deep, hi buddy, and that his eyes would just open up and smile as he would switch between the two.
Yeah, I need to find that video.
Seeing him do that video was there was quite a bit of chuckle of just seeing him just go from one to the other and just back and forth in those scenes. It was like, how does he not accidentally flip and be like, I'm going to stab you type of... no, that's the other voice, isn't it? Okay, hold on. Let me do this again.
I also really liked the fused voice once he had the scribble face, where it was just bad cop, but he had a slight pitch adjustment added to it.
Yeah.
That was kind of a cool effect. The micromanagers are still like, man, I'm giving them a D12 shelf. It's just such a cool idea. They're so weird looking.
They can enact your will upon all your other toys.
I loved how after all this time going like, oh, they have flick fire missiles and they have crazy claws. All they ever do is carefully pose people.
Yeah.
Like, that's their whole thing. Yeah, I'm not sure what else to add myself. I was very impressed by this film. I've been told that this is gushing too much, but I maintain I think there is a chance this film could be timeless. That in a decade from now it'll still be relevant for people to watch. I don't think that's a sure thing, but I feel like there's a small chance it is, because there's a lot to this film that doesn't really date it a whole lot. Like the most dated thing I can think is the part where they say iPod Shuffle, and that's out of date already, which is part of the joke. So
as time goes on, it'll get even funnier.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. Anything else, you guys? Any other points you guys want to drop in, or do you think we've kind of run the gamut on this piece?
I need to see it again tomorrow.
I am seeing it again tomorrow.
As am I. So we should all go see it again tomorrow.
All right. Deal.
Okay, I guess. I'll go for 3.
All right, twist my arm.
I suppose I'll watch this movie. Yeah, if we haven't got anything else, then I'd just like to say thanks, dear listener, for checking this out and hearing out our thoughts. Again, I'll say I wish I could have provided a speaker who was not into the movie at all, but that is a legitimately hard person to find in my social circles. But I hope that I really hope we have addressed some of the parts of the movie that were a bit weaker, as best we can. Speaking as 4 people who really dug it, and I mean, yeah, this was a bit of a loaded podcast because I brought on 3 hardcore Lego fans, but for such a great film, who better to talk to? I feel like it's good perspective. So, Aaron, thanks for joining me. I mean, I say thanks. You know, we podcast together all the time.
Yeah,
this was practically your job.
Yeah, my router was trying to prevent it even.
Yeah,
went and thumped on it some, and it may have brought itself up for replacement a lot sooner than I was aiming. But hey,
take it out back. Just tap. Both to the brain.
I've got some crazy glue around here. I'll see what I can do with it.
Kragle.
Spurt some Kragle on that.
Yeah.
By the way, that reminds me, the Lord Business Evil Lair actually comes with some sprayed Kragle in the form of some transparent lily pad pieces.
Yeah, for Ma and Pa Cop.
Yep.
First used in the Toy Story Soldiers. The Army Men.
Oh, yeah, I remember reading about that. I guess as the fused foot piece thing.
Yep.
And Ken, thanks for coming by on this whole thing was on somewhat short notice, but thanks for taking the time to join us, giving your own perspective and whatever the hell it is you're going to have done to me when I get the package that's coming in the mail.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's good to be here.
Yeah. And Dan D. Fuzz, thank you for bringing your own perspective to this as someone who is super deep in the brand. And hope this was a nice way to kind of get some vocalization on the film out on your end.
Oh, my pleasure. I thought we had quite a fantastic discussion. I always love talking Lego.
Yeah, and for a film that has a nuclear spoiler, this was also real great for me because, and as far as I can tell, for really all of us, because it's not like we can just sit on Twitter talking about half this stuff.
Yeah, it's very therapeutic. Like, yes, I get to talk to somebody.
Get some of these thoughts out of my system.
I can't even talk with like coworkers in the store because there's customers in the store who haven't potentially seen the movie yet. So
yeah.
Just walk up to that annoying customer. It's like, oh, have you seen it yet? No, you haven't. Oh, there's this really neat point where they go to the real world. Now get out. Get the fuck out. You've been standing here for 20 minutes trying to decide which. Just pick one. Get the fuck
out. Also, I want to say that monitoring some of the discussions you guys have has also really helped me not be a horrible person at the Lego shop. Like when I'm standing there fondling minifigure bags, like I try to stay out of people's way, and I try to keep to myself, not be something that's preventing anyone from getting at what they're looking for.
They should be helping others. Fondling the bags, being the mentor for others needing to fondle bags.
He needs mentoring to get to that point.
Yeah, I am a terrible bag fondler. Like, I'm getting better, but man, am I bad. Like, if
You should come down to Brick World Indie and we'll teach you.
Oh God.
Yeah. 3 of the 4 people in this podcast will be there. Why won't you?
Yeah.
'Cause I'm in Toronto.
Yeah, because that's such a hard drive that I haven't made every year.
Yeah, exactly. It's difficult.
Come on, guys, let's guilt them into it.
I'll be a bad. There are these things I still do. Like, I really love the Lego Movie, but there's things I still do. I can't resist not doing them. Like, I did a V-build of the Piece of Resistance polybag, and I said that Lego is this new Creo competitor that are doing a big media push for their debut with like a full-on feature film. I've gotten a couple pretty angry comments in the video. Someone corrected me and said, that Lego has been around since the 50s. And I don't know how to reply to that comment. If I go to Brick World,
they've been around longer and not as long as the 50s. So
if I go to Brick World, I'm just gonna go there carrying like Call of Duty Mega Bloks guys around, going like, "Hey guys, you want to play?"
No, you gotta say, "Hey buddy."
Hey buddy. I mean, this movie. I'll put in one more thought here. This movie. One other thing I really love about it is it projects a joy of toys without telling you that the toys you're having a joy for have to be Lego. That was one of the last things I wanted to say, is that this movie tells you that toys are fun. It's telling you through the medium of Lego, but I really loved how the movie didn't try to slip in a message that Lego is the greatest toy line, or that it's the only toy line you should be buying. And that was one of the last things that I felt was such a brave move, is that this movie is a full-on just a story of the joy of toys and creativity, not the joys of playing with Lego and only Lego. And all, like, coming out of this movie, I felt even more empowered in the thing I want to someday do. The only reason I want to get a modular city set is I want to get one of them. I want to get maybe the restaurant or something. I just want to have like Bad Cop and President Business and their evil allies, the Call of Duty Mega Bloks men, like fighting Lego dudes who are teaming up with Tenkai Knights, all in a restaurant. I don't know why it has to be a restaurant, but it has to be a restaurant.
Well, no, the Lego dudes and Tenkai Knights are sitting down for a meal, and then Lord Business walked in, and it was very awkward.
Yeah, and then he brought like all these like funny-looking gangly dudes with lots of joints and machine guns, and
yep,
everything just went nuts. So yeah, such a lovely film experience, doubly so for someone with a passion for the toys, Lego or otherwise. But yeah, I've dragged this out nearly crisis long, so until next time that we do a Vaudiosonic for some reason, we'll talk to you again. Of course, you can find myself wherever you listen to this. Me and Aaron can both be found on the Transformers podcast that we do over on TFW 2005. It is called WTF at TFW. You can look it up on iTunes. Ken is Noise Maze. He has lots of mass production type noise mazes, and is generally
always looking for more.
Always looking for more. He's generally an evil toy collector mastermind. Can be found on twitter.com/noisemaze. How do you spell that?
Noise Maze with 2 Z's. One in noise, one in maze.
Blam. And Dan, D-Fuzz on Twitter, D-Fuzz across the internet. You can find him at your local Lego store, as well as Pre-Order 66, the high-end toy podcast that is the master of having 50 endings. We've only hit about 40 here, but we're getting close.
I will say, how many Lego stores does Dan work at?
Yeah,
so
he's not kidding. He's literally at your Lego store.
6 in 2 countries so far.
Well, don't you also like just go to other Lego stores and start critiquing what they're doing? And then
hey, we're not supposed to talk about that.
Oh, all right. Don't you go to other Lego stores and talk about how great they are?
Yes, I do.
I got an email from the manager of the Lego store I go to.
Oh, did she reply to a survey? Or
in the survey, I didn't put a 10 in somewhere.
And
I got an email asking why I didn't put a 10 there. I don't know how to answer that email.
It was bad. Like, I was looking at the Brick Fan. I like going to that site because that guy gets a lot of information early. I don't know how. And I believe it was that site. He had posted up pictures from the mini build. There's a free mini build for kids the first Tuesday of every month. And this months was the micromanager. And so he was posting pictures from the store, and I'm looking at the shelf. Like, I can't help but look at the shelves. I'm like, oh, that's wrong. That's wrong. That's wrong. That's wrong. Yikes. Like, Ken posted pictures from his new store in Gurney when that opened. And yeah, I cringed a lot. I'm really big on visual stuff.
Defa's always watching.
Yeah.
You wouldn't want to see it now. It's even worse.
Sorry.
You got to come by the one we have here in Toronto. It's got an enormous floor space for, you know, the amount of wall space it has. So it's actually got a lot of empty space even when it's crowded.
I remember that. It was really wide. Is that the one in
Yorkdale?
The mall that was under construction?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one that we went to, and we got the
keychains, the Canada keychains,
the Canada keychains, and the
DeLoreans,
the time machines, the DeLoreans.
Yeah, it's wide.
See them
right?
all next time I'm up, because you guys have 2 or 3 in the Greater Toronto area.
Mm-hmm.
How many?
That was a question.
Oh, I thought you were just stating. I only really actually know of the one at Yorkdale Mall.
Was Yorkdale the one we went to?
If it was on the transit line, it was.
I don't know.
We drove.
I think it was Yorkdale.
There was a Toys R Us right outside.
Oh, that's not Yorkdale. No.
Okay, then yeah, it was a different mall, and so I know there's at least 2 in the Toronto area. I'd like to see them all. So this year for TFCon, I'm gonna try and make it to all the Lego stores up there.
Yeah, I'll come. I'll show you where Yorkdale is. We can ride the subway there together, and I can fondle bags in front of you, and you can tell me what I'm doing wrong and right.
Sounds good. It's a date.
All right. Well, we're on ending number 53, so we've now beaten the Krasis record. So
for some reason, as you say that, I see Dan like handing you one. Now, what do you feel? Okay, no. Hold it. Are you sure?
He's like, I feel this. I said, no, just feel it.
That's a hairpiece, right? No. It's not a hairpiece.
You just stand behind him and you're massaging the side of his head and his temples. No.
Feel that. No, you want to know the thing that's going to make you guys cringe? Half the time I think I'm feeling something, it's the foot plate.
Yeah.
I constantly think the foot plate is something.
Toronto has 3: Yorkdale, Sherway Gardens, and Fairview Mall.
You guys, I think, went to Sherway.
I think that was the one, maybe.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
All right.
Yeah. Nasty spaghetti bowl that shows up on the map. Yeah. Yep.
Well, that's a Vaudiosonic. We'll talk to you later. Maybe we should do this again sometime. I don't know.
I'm down.
I don't want to do a weekly Lego thing, though.
Maybe we can turn Vaudiosonic into a Lego podcast.
Vaudiosonic, your source for Lego.
Yeah.
Kind of like Giant Bomb, your source for video games.
We'll do a Lego show a month. You know, it's not too crazy.
What's up in the world of Lego? Bricks. All right. Well, we're
get together in 3 years when we have a sequel.
Yeah.
Oh,
we'll definitely do another one of these for the next Lego movie.
Well, when Vangelis comes down for Brick World.
Yeah. So next month we
can do one live. Yeah.
So I was thinking of the name of a website that would be based on transforming robots and Lego and similar competitors. And I was trying to think of a good website title, and I had a couple that came to mind, and they were along the lines of Brickflip. Brickflip.net.
Okay.
Because it's bricks and it's stuff that flips and changes.
Sounds like a black market Lego website.
Brickflip.
Yeah.
Brick switch.
The second hand market, the dirty brick. You don't know where these are really coming from.
You don't know where mine are coming from. I have like 2 spare president businesses. How do you think his hair got that color?
Oh no.
I want to buy mine. Oh, we've gone way over 228. Okay, closing us down. Talk to you guys later.